I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate to the sky. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate. Yeah. I've been the one that was called upon to level up my whole bloodline. I wear the crown with a heavy head. Came out the darkness with all my light. Running the laps on a marathon. Can't build a legacy overnight. Heal through the pain and the tough times. I just wanna catch a vibe tonight. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Magnificent. I feel like I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate to the sky. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate. Yeah. Been the one that was called upon to level up my whole bloodline. I wear the crown with a heavy head. Came out the darkness with all my light. Running the laps on a marathon. Can't build a legacy overnight. Heal through the pain and the tough times. I just wanna catch a vibe tonight. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Magnificent. I feel like I'm in a different league. Me and Creator got chemistry. I'm not attached to identities. Peace in my soul and I'm living free. I done forgave all my enemies. I cannot let that shit sit with me. Cutting the cords and I've been released. Nah, nigga, about to go crazy. Running up a bag for my wife and my babies. Living in abundance, gratitude on the daily. Feeling unbreakable, you cannot phase. My DNA showing trace of a king. Check out the proof of my royalty statement. I know it's my time, yeah, I've been waiting patient. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate to the sky. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate. Yeah. I've been the one that was called upon to level up my whole bloodline. I wear the crown with a heavy head. Came out the darkness with all my light. Running the laps on a marathon. Can't build a legacy overnight. Heal through the pain and the tough times. I just wanna catch a vibe tonight. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate to the sky. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate. Yeah. I've been the one that was called upon to level up my whole bloodline. I wear the crown with a heavy head. Came out the darkness with all my light. Running the laps on a marathon. Can't build a legacy overnight. Heal through the pain and the tough times. I just wanna catch a vibe tonight. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Magnificent. I feel like I'm in a different league. Me and Creator got chemistry. I'm not attached to identities. Peace in my soul and I'm living free. I done forgave all my enemies. I cannot let that shit sit with me. Cutting the cords and I've been released. Nah, nigga, about to go crazy. Running up a bag for my wife and my babies. Living in abundance, gratitude on the daily. Feeling unbreakable, you cannot phase. My DNA showing trace of a king. Check out the proof of my royalty statement. I know it's my time, yeah, I've been waiting patient. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate to the sky. I just wanna catch your fire. Elevate. Yeah. I've Loving the one I was called upon to level up my whole bloodline. I wear the crown with a heavy head. Came out the darkness with all my light. Running the laps on a marathon. Can't build a legacy overnight. Heal through the pain and the tough times. I just wanna catch a vibe tonight and leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor, baby. Leave it all out on the whoa.
Peace, peace, peace. Power and prosperity, y'all. Rob Blackstorm, what's going on? It is pouring rain out here in New York City. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if everything's okay on this side because I can't tell, right? But let me tell y'all today, I had a great weekend, right? I hope you had a great weekend. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rob Blackstorm. I am your spiritual, esoteric, occult guide through the cosmos. All right. I do not want you to follow me. I am just here to give you, well, follow me, of course, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that share button, right? But my goal, my goal is to empower you to lead yourself. All right. Shout out to everybody dropping the ones. Let me do a quick roll call and we'll get into it. Peace to Titan Moore. Peace to Philip Boom. Peace to Ultra Instinct. Peace to Rosie Neal. Peace to Sovereignty. Peace to Soul Matters. All right. I appreciate y'all in the building. Smack that like button as soon as you can. All right. Let's talk about first things first. I had peace to Dre Allah. All right. Yeah, I had a great weekend. It was a really good weekend. Today it's been raining all day here in New York. Went out last night, house music, kind of cleansed my soul. I feel real. You know, the power of dance movement. You know, being in an element where house music is well deep house, not the techno type of house. That you see out there with Skrillex and all that, like deep house. Those different type of artists. There's something about dancing in that tribal type of house music that puts you in a high frequency and a high vibration. And being that we're in the cusp, this is actually day 3, beginning the 12th, 12/12. There's actually a new moon in Sagittarius. So, my spirit was just like, go down there, end up meeting some cool people. I went dolo, end up meeting some cool people. So it was fun. I had a really good weekend. And this morning, woke up. As soon as I woke up, my spirit was like, yo, take your ass in meditation, like immediately. So I had some stomach things going on, took care of that, went into meditation. And when I say, man, like I said, it was raining all day, this meditation was just like vivid. Like usually during my meditations, I could kind of program myself, program the moment or the now for what I want to see in the future, or healing whatever comes up in the past, which has been happening lately. Like a lot of past events have been coming up, which I've told y'all if y'all follow me. And I've been like in a space or a mindset now to where, like just a lot of things are unraveling. And I had a meditation that was very vivid, very visual, almost psychedelic, right? While it was raining. And it put me right back to bed. So I went back to bed, took a nap. And in this particular dream, right, that I had after my meditation, it was like a test, right? And I was in a room with a big chandelier and a whole bunch of people. There was different celebrities and things like that. But there was mostly people of influence, right? Believe LeBron was in the dream, and I forgot the dude's name, who's tied into Casamigos. He was in there, like the actor. There's a lot, so there was just some people in there, but there was a lot of, you just could tell it was a powerful place. And there was a big thing of like crystals on the right, you know. And basically they were telling me like, there's a lot you could gain, if you just touch this particular crystal. And it was like they was all telling me at the same time. They was all putting pressure. And they was just like, you just got to say you down with us. You just got to say that you with us and you're gonna get everything that you want to manifest. Right? You just got to renounce your divinity. That's what they was like, renounce your divinity, renounce your divinity, renounce your divinity, right? And I was like, nah, I'm not renouncing my divinity for what? Like material things? Like what y'all gonna give me a house, car? Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up around shit like that. Like I made shit like that. Like the shit don't impress me. Like finances don't impress me like it impresses most people, right? And or material things, right? And I was like, yo, I was like, no, I'm not gonna renounce my divinity. So boom, as soon as that shit happened, I like shot up, boom, into the air, right? My body just levitated up through the roof, no breaking of the roof or nothing. And next thing I know, I woke up as I was ascending. So I say that to say, a lot of your dreams that you may think are nightmares or you may think are evil, so to speak, right, quote unquote, are really dreams that are trying to test your spirituality, to test your resolve, to see are you really, about this life? Are you really about the spiritual path? Or are you really doing this for some other mundane purpose, right? Where you're just trying to manifest certain things or gain certain material things, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of material things. And if you are sincerely on this path, right, these things will come to you. You can go back, right? And see, when I started doing these videos and things like that, my journey from there to where I'm at now, right? Things have definitely changed in my financial future, right? This year I did another 6+ figures, right, at my job plus the stuff that I do with readings and etc. Right, so money will start to find you. Right, if you're in here for money, money will start to find you. Love will start to find you. Right, things will start to come to you. Opportunities, if you're sincerely about this spiritual work, because ultimately the all or the force is about you or wants you to succeed here on earth. It wants you to be comfortable enough to get to where you want to get to. It wants you to be able to manifest the things you want to manifest on earth, right? So that you could do whatever your purpose is. Because the goal is to push the universe forward. The same way the universe is always expanding, right? The same way our life is expanding. Remember, at one point, there were no computers, there were no cars, even. There were no airplanes, right? There were no washing machines or refrigerators, right? All these things that we take for granted, indoor toilets, right? These things are creations that people made in order to make life better for themselves and we benefit in the future, right? So these people are really people that compete into the quote unquote future in time space. So this is like part of the work to manifest what you need to do spiritually here on earth. So I just want to tap into that. Also, I want to say this real quick and then we get into the lecture, right? There's this movie out of Obama's called out of Obama's on Netflix that everybody's talking about. Forgot the name of it. Somebody could put it in the chat. Um some shit, The Last Days Remind Me. Or something, but it's a movie that everybody's talking about. I'm gonna watch it after this, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, it's predicting the end," and this is where leave the world behind. Thank you, Ultra Instinct. Yeah, leave the world behind. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's the end of the world." They're predicting what's gonna happen next. Let me tell you something. Someone who's been around for a long time, right? I remember when Y2K, the year 2000, right? The world was supposed to end in the year 2000, right? Y2K, the computers with something about the numbers, the digits, they couldn't go to 00, so we're gonna mess up the banking and everything, et cetera, right? Everybody was like, the world's going to 2000. People was kind of giving up. People was like, some people selling shit, right? It was a whole frenzy around Y2K, right? Even in the quote unquote conscious lecture community at the time, Y2K was coming, right? Y2K came, right? It obviously ain't shit happen, right? In 2000, shit ain't happen, right? 2008, right? Stock market crash. There's nobody on the lecture circuit predicted it. Nobody that was in the spiritual community predicted it, right? It happened, right? 9/11. Nobody in the lecture circuit, nobody in the spiritual community predicted it. It happened, right? 2020. Nobody in the lecture circuit, nobody in the spiritual community predicted it. It happened, right? what I'm trying to say is this, right? Any propaganda that's and we just had the whole thing with the whole emergency broadcast signal, right? Where people were putting their laptops and their TVs inside, you know, burying them under dirt and putting them inside microwaves and shit like that, right? I'm going to tell y'all this based on my experience, right? And I can only tell you because I've walked through this fire already. I've been with some of y'all who've already been. If something's going to happen, you're not going to know about it. I'm sorry to tell you, no matter how much anxiety you have, anxiety is nothing but fear for the future, right? Depression is you constantly thinking about the past, right? And anxiety is you constantly thinking about the future. No matter how much anxiety you have, you're not going to really know what's going to happen in the universe. You're not going to know what's going to happen on Earth if it pops up. If it pops up, it's just going to pop up. What's going to happen is the spirit world will prepare you in some way, shape, or form where you're going to be able to be spiritually prepared, whether it's having a certain diet, whether it's moving a certain direction, whether it's not being here or there. Spirit will protect you and preserve you. I can tell you that from living in New York City during 9/11 when the towers crashed. And my ass happened to be working in Westchester, but I was supposed to get a job in the Twin Towers, right? There was a job in the Twin Towers that I declined because Westchester was closer to where I lived at the time. I lived in a different place than I live now, but Westchester was close to where I live, so I took that job. And I could have been in that building working, right? But spirit will preserve you and protect you, right? Same thing during the whole 2020. Obviously, the videos are there. You have to go back and check and see what I was telling people to do. I ain't catch it. Ain't nothing happened to me. You know, the situation, I ain't taking no, you know, in the arm. Not knocking anybody who did for their financial reasons, but it wasn't for me, right? And the people in my inner circle, we was holding fast and holding tight and sharing vibes and information with each other as well. So it's very important also that you have a spiritual circle. There's a lot of people out here, you know, like soloists, right? And when you come into spirituality or develop your spiritual senses, which is what we're going to talk about as far as programming yourself for 2024, you're actually going to attract people of like mind, of like spirit. Now I will say this. They're not all going to be, people that are got altars, people that are working with deities or people that got crystals or whatever. This could be an average quote unquote human, right, who's just living life, right? And they might be Christian, they might be Muslim, they might not be none of the above, just a high vibrational person, high energy, right? Good speaking, positive mind, right? Into metaphysics, right? Into science, whatever, right? But just a person that was programmed or had good parents that told them, that they could do anything and told them to stay positive no matter what, right? And they have that particular essence in them, you're going to start attracting those people into your life and your circle. If you start to dismiss people because they don't agree exactly how you believe, or they don't watch Bobby Hemmett videos or Brother Panic videos or whoever you think is the highest of the high and you dismiss them, right? You're going to be lost. So I want to say with this leave the world behind, be careful. And this is what we're going to go into that not necessarily, I didn't watch the movie yet. I'm just seeing it on Facebook. People talking about like crazy. I'm like, oh, here we go again, right? There, that this is a program, right? And if you believe that this is the reality, right? Because I see some people talking about like world ending things like that. If you believe that that's going to be your reality, then that is going to be your reality. If you believe that no matter what the fuck happens, if you know rather, no matter what the fuck happens on this earth, you're going to be okay. You're going to be protected. You're divinely protected, and your aura is shining, and you're doing your spiritual work on a day-to-day basis to keep your vibrations high by thinking as the Most High, being one with the divine, being one with God, being one with the God within yourself, nurturing that essence, right? Which we'll talk about during this video, then you're going to be all right. You don't have much to worry about, right? You shouldn't be worried. In fact, this pathway of knowledge is not really the pathway of the anxiety and depression. I want you to understand that this is not the pathway of fear. This is not the pathway of anxiety. This is not the pathway of depression. This is the pathway where you heal all these things. where you develop inner strength, where you develop inner courage, where your root chakra now has transformed from safety and security and fear to now that root chakra is love, power, joy, peace, and prosperity. And now you're rerooting yourself into things of the spirit, not things of the flesh. So you are in the world, but not of the world, as the scripture says. And that's what we are or that's what I want to talk about and want to communicate to y'all today. Like, be careful with these Netflix shows and these movies, and you thinking that, oh, they telling us something. No, the government's not going to tell you shit. They ain't tell you shit when 2020 was coming, right? They ain't say shit during 9/11. They ain't say shit during Y2K. You're not going to know when it's coming, right? What does the Bible say? They know not the day nor the hour when Jesus is coming, right? Of course, we're not talking about Jesus, but we're talking about just regular events. So you just got to be on your toes. There's no YouTuber, no prophet, no spirit, no teacher that's going to be able to really tell you what's going on. Even myself, right? And I'm highly motherfucking clairvoyant, right? Highly perspective, right? Highly protected. And even myself, 2024 is going to be a crazy year. I know just because of the numerology, but that does not mean that I could tell you, okay, 2024, this is what's exactly going to happen. No one can. And go back and look at your teachers, the people you follow. They got 2020 videos out there. See if they were saying that there's going to be a virus that's going to shut down America. This is recent enough, right? Go back and check. Shit, I think I even did a video. I ain't say that shit was going to happen. But I knew that my diet, right, had to change. I did a video on herbs around that time, right? That was just what Spirit was telling me to put out. And lo and behold, look what happened. So I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew I was adjacent to the truth of what was going to happen. And that's how Spirit works, all right? So I just want to tap on that real quick. So let's go into the actual lecture. Shout out to everyone who is here. Again, hit that like button and that subscribe button, and you will get everything rocking, rolling. All right. So we got some slides, and I'm going to show y'all. This is probably going to be like the most beginner friendly video that I've done in a long time to show you these tools you can use for 2024 to get your magical mind ready for miracles. All right. And this is, 2024 is going to be a hectic year, but you will be okay if you are in tune with the spirit world, the subconscious, the quantum realm, the astral realm, right? The etheric realm, the what else is the halls of momentum, right? Subconscious, right? All these things that are representative of you being in tune with the invisible universe, the 95% of the universe that is not seen by naked eye or any human instrument. So let's present this, and we'll get things started. Slideshow. All right. So you can see what I'm seeing. All right. So now this is obviously right. The Matrix. If you haven't seen it, the Matrix, the movie that came up in 1999. If you haven't seen the Matrix, this is definitely one of them movies you want to see. Oh, if you hear a little beep or a little buzzing in the background, I have two different frequencies playing. So when you're listening to this, you're actually being upgraded vibrationally as well. There's 432 hertz, which is Schumann resonance, the resonance of peace, anxiety, and there's also 528 hertz that's playing. So that is DNA repair. So you're welcome. All right. So the Matrix is the system, Neo. All right. A dream world meant to keep humanity under control by the system. It's an energy vampire apparatus. All right. So that is what the Matrix is. The Matrix is an energy vampire apparatus. All right. And now, right, children are actually being born into this system or into the Matrix via the internet, via social media. Now, in 1999, we didn't know that the internet and social media is going to be the beast that it is currently, right? And that somebody like me was going to be able to talk to you on a laptop, and speak to people all over the world. But this is what's happening. So the Matrix, the system of the Matrix, is designed to keep you under control. Okay, it's designed to drain your energy and utilize your energy. The Gnostics called it archons, right? To feed off of your energy. All energy can be used. Whatever you focus on, which I've discussed before, you interact with, there's quantum entanglement. Quanta, the word quanta means light. So there's whatever you focus on, you give your light to, it's also reflecting light back. So you give your light to something, it's also reflecting light back. In fact, when you're talking to people, right, it is scientifically known that your brains actually sync together. Your brain waves sync with whoever you're talking to. And the people that you actually were lovers with, like your parents, your siblings, the people you're close to, your brains are actually synced more. That's why sometimes you think of a friend or you think of a family member, right? And you be thinking about them and they might call or send a text, right? Or something like that, or you run into them in the street because your brain waves have already synced from the constant communication that you have. But the whole goal, again, is to take you away from that connection with others. And it's meant for you to pledge allegiance to the system. Now, this is what Morpheus said about you being a battery, right? A battery for the matrix, right? Now, what Morpheus, the battery that Morpheus is actually holding is a D battery, okay? So I've told y'all in previous videos how the chakra system works, right? The different sounds or the different notes. Bag, fed, C. The bag, fed, C. So the note B is for the crown chakra, right? C is for the root chakra, right? And D, now we're talking about the sacral chakra, right? The creative, sexual chakra, right? And this is how they kind of get you aroused to be interested in the matrix. Now on the right, you see Cipher with the steak, right? Now we know food, right? There's people that are foodies. There's people who love food. There's food shows, right? Gordon Ramsay and all that, right? Food has an arousal process, right? The steakhouse, right? Going to Ruth Chris or B2K or something like that, right? The high-end steakhouses and things like that, right? This is an aspirational part of our society, right? To be able to afford to go to these steakhouses, eat at these places, right? And what the matrix does, like he says, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know when I put it in my mouth, the matrix is telling my brain that this is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, do you know what I've realized? Ignorance is bliss. Most of humanity that you know, your friends, your family, your people, right? They are on this train of ignorance, right? They were born into the matrix. They're born into the matrix. They're following the matrix, right? And they really don't care about any type of ascension. They're just living a day-to-day life. They just want to get enough money to go to steakhouses on a regular basis. They just want to get enough money to pull up in the cars where the steakhouses are. They just want to show off, be able to take a picture for Instagram of them eating a nice steak meal. You understand what I'm saying? Like the material world is the matrix. The physical world is actually the matrix because this is a holographic universe. This universe is a fractal universe. It's made up of zeros and ones, binary code, right? Which Dr. Gates explained, right? Which actually comes from the Dinker code or Dinker symbolism, right? But this particular world is meant to control you via the material world. Also, Cipher, right? The character Cipher in the Matrix is a representative of Saturn. What is cipher? A cipher is a circle. Okay, a cipher is in a circle. When I first was introduced to the Nation of Gods and Earths, we be walking down the street. That's what they were in, right? The 5% Nation of Gods and Earths back in the 90s, right? They would be in ciphers and they would be building, right? Building and quote unquote, talking about science and things like that, right? So the cipher actually represents Saturn, right? Saturn or Set. And if you look on the top of Saturn, Saturn actually has a cube on top of Saturn. This represents the box that you are in. Another reason that Saturn is called Chronos, right? It also ties into Cipher, which is the Earth, you being earth in cycles of karma. Kronos eats his young. He said Kronos is a baby eater because when you are born as a baby, eventually you're going to die. This physical apparatus is going to no longer exist, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So the box is you staying earthbound and you being attached to earthbound things. But ultimately, that is your control mechanism. That you are only focused on what is here on earth. You're only focused on money, love, getting this new car, getting this new home, getting this food. And that is all your drive is, but not your drive to tap into your higher facilities, to tap into your higher character, to live a life that is beneficial not only to you, but those that you are around, aka righteous living or righteous mindset, right? So this is why most people think ignorance is bliss because they're just living a regular human life. And unfortunately, they're going to reincarnate back into the matrix and do it all over again until they unplug, right? So this is how they get you. They arouse you and arouse your desire for these things and to make you and tap into your ego, right? To make you think, yeah, I'm the man, your solar plexus. I'm the man, I'm the woman, I'm this, I'm that, I'm better than you, right? I got more money than you. You're broke, right? I look better than you, right? Look at me stunting on them. Look at me styling on them. Look at me, which I hate when I say it. Look at me standing on business, right? All this shit that's happening right now. So this is what's going on. So you've been programmed, or you are being programmed to be a slave all your life by your family and friends, your schools and universities, the media, news, music, and entertainment, religion, your lovers, social media, influencers, politicians, athletes, and entertainers, and non-originality. Okay, we all know you can't even say certain things on social media, even on these platforms, right? Without something happening, right? Without somebody having something to say, without someone, questioning your your perspective. And it's your perspective, right? You have the right to your perspective. Even this Andre 3000 thing is a great example of how you're being programmed to be a slave. Yes, he had a 17-year run where he was rapping, but he decided he wanted to do something different. Now, us as fans, even though we wanted to hear the new music, the fact that he decided to do something different, right, shouldn't be something that we should be talking down on. In fact, we should be encouraging originality, right? We're in the age of Aquarius. It's all about knowing yourself. It's all about knowing what's best for you. It's all about knowing which direction you should go, not the crowd, not your mama, your daddy, your cousin, your baby mama, your baby daddy, your homegirls, your friends, right? People in your neighborhood, but you doing what's best for you. So the whole idea of being programmed and how you've been programmed is to be an agent Smith or to be an agent matrix, to be duplicated as others, to be quote unquote a sheep, right? And these are the 8 main ways that you're being programmed, even the people that you sleep with, right? I remember I was, on my path or whatever, and I was dealing with this woman and she was like, yo, you gotta just focus on getting money. And once you get your money, right, you're gonna be all right. Like you don't need all these other things, et cetera, et cetera. You don't need this spiritual shit. Like why are you doing this spiritual shit? You just need to get a whole bunch of money. And even though I grew up around parents with money, right, or a parent with money, I still, I was still kind of she kind of brainwashed me and took me off my path for a couple of years, right, where I wasn't doing anything. And I eventually got the money, that I thought was gonna, and I still wasn't happy. Like I still wasn't satisfied. No matter what you do, what you get, what you acquire in the material world, you're still going to have to. This is a have to. You're still gonna have to see spirit. You're still gonna have to go into the spiritual world. You see it with people that are celebrities, right? You see it with rich people all the time who join these cult organizations. And you like, these people are geniuses. Like, why would you do something like that? Because there is always a higher calling. There's a higher calling to be one with the universe. There's a higher calling for you to be at peace. The ultimate goal, which is why I always introduce my videos, is peace, peace of mind, right? No matter what's happening, right? Power, where you want to be able to influence the planet the way you want to and the way that's beneficial to you and your loved ones, right? And prosperity, right? Having an abundance of health, right? Financial prosperity where you can help yourself and help others in your family, right? And your friends, right? So peace, power, and prosperity. That's the ultimate goal of this path. But the program is telling you that you don't need the spiritual work. You don't need to tap into your spiritual gifts. You don't need to tap into your intuition. All you need is the American dream, right? White picket fence, a dog, right? Uh, your wife, a husband, big house, and you'll be set, right? But it's just like Culture Instinct is saying, right? It's just stuff. It all falls down, right? It all boils down. At the end of the day, the way racism is set up in America, like Kanye said, you just a nigga in a coop. You just a nigga in a coop. So this is the programs that we are currently under right now. And we have to reprogram ourselves. It's like the great Lauren Hill said, right? We have been miseducated, right? We've grown up miseducated. We were taught that George Washington never told a lie. He sat by the cherry tree. We were taught that Jesus is going to come down and save us, so we don't have to do anything to in our communities and in our lives, and we just got to wait, right? We've been taught that the aliens are coming back and they're going to save us. We were taught that the world is going to end and Armageddon is going to come and fire is going to come down from the sky and burn up all the wicked people and we're going to be saved and sent to heaven, right? Some theologies teach that you're going to have a paradise on earth, right? These are the things that we have been taught, right? And that we believe, right? And wholeheartedly, a lot of us until we wake up. So the goal is to unprogram and reprogram. So how we another way we're programmed, right? And the main triggers are root chakra triggers, okay? Base instincts, okay, our animal nature, money, sex, and violence, okay? The left is KRS-One album cover called Sex and Violence, right? You see the politician in the suit, the woman, right? The time, you got the nuclear clock, nuclear thing, right? So this is how they quote unquote get you or quote unquote get you enraptured through sex and violence. If you look at the right, this was something that happened just this weekend, right? This Friday, not Friday, or Thursday, 7th, I think it was Thursday. Bad versus wild, right? Out in Las Vegas. Dark skin versus light skin, right? Ancestors are rolling in their grave, all right? That's what's happening. Ancestors are rolling in their grave. Dark skin versus light skin, colorism. Provided by Nick Cannon, right? And remember, Nick Cannon is the dude that had Dr. Umar and Progressive Griff, and he was on YouTube with Cannon's class, and he's dropping all this science, and he's reading all these books, right? And this just goes to show you, and this is Nick, this is the same Nick Cannon, right? This is not even 10 years removed, right? I don't even think it's 5 years removed from when he was having Cannon's class, right? Because I remember in 2000 he was dropping a lot of these videos. He was going to Howard University, and he had he had a couple of luminaries, right, in the quote unquote black community that were dropping heavy science. And this goes to show you that now he went through this situation with the the small hats, so to speak, right, where they made him apologize and everything. And he also said that a lot of quote unquote melanated people wasn't there for him. So maybe he decided to switch sides, right, and accept, you know, remember in the Bible, the story of Jesus, right? And even though we're not Christian or I'm not Christian, there is still gems in these stories. And remember, the key thing was that Jesus was shown all the, or Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the world, right? Showed him that he could have all the riches, everything in the world, all the money, right? Everything that the world had to offer. That was his biggest temptation. And he had to realize that that wasn't what life was about. It was about him resurrecting, right? It was about him becoming the divine beings, about him helping and healing the poor, the sick, the downtrodden, right? And being a beacon of light on earth. And he realized that he was like, nah, I don't want this like none of this material shit. I mean, even think about it, right? I was raised, quote unquote, in a mini mansion, right, when I lived in Atlanta, right? And I think back now, right, in 2023, all that shit looks old as fuck. Like if that place is still there, right, everything in that house is old as fuck. And it was super modern at the time, right? The big ass color TV with the big box back. You know what I'm saying? The couches at the time, the sectionals, right? All the shit that I had, the refrigerator, right? And all that shit was new and fresh. And, even my dad's Benz and shit like that, all that shit is mad old now and kind of whack, besides the Benz. But all that shit is old, and not the things that's popping right now. So in time, anything that you get's material is going to fade. But I'm saying that to say, so let's go back to the Nick Cannon part, right? Even though he had all this book knowledge, even though he read all these books and probably could regurgitate this stuff and had a logical outcome, right? Left brain, logical reasoning, logical understanding, he was not in a spiritual lifestyle. And the spiritual lifestyle is about manipulating the spirit, right? The energy within you so that you could master the universe, but more importantly, master self. Master self, understand who you are subjectively, which is the within or the God gnosis, right, within you, and objectively understand that you are in this animal vessel, right? This animal vessel called a human, and it is here to do work here on earth and quote unquote live your purpose, right? But not even quote unquote, to live your purpose. So this is the same guy that was had all these scholars and was becoming a scholar himself, but now look what he's indulging, right? For the financial gain, right? So this is how you are triggered. This is how you are programmed. So we have to reprogram our mindset in reverse, right? And get out of this because this is tying us into our animal spirit. The Cometians call it the kada, right? Your animal self or your animal essence, where all the animal wants to do is what? Eat, fuck, you know what I'm saying? And sleep, right? And that's it. Eat, fuck, sleep, and lay down somewhere and relax, right? It's really an aimless, right? And animals run strictly on what they call instinct, right? Instinct is another form of intuition, okay? So they run just off their animal intuition. And quote unquote human that is not in any form of culture that cultivates, right? Now doesn't have a daily culture or daily lifestyle is going to be in their animal frame of being because everything in on earth, as far as media is concerned, as far as all these people, right? All these different 8 spheres of life are programming you to be like this, whether they know it or not, okay? And programming you to accept this as truth, accept this as all you need in life, all right? So what we have to do is get ourselves out of that. Now, this is what you are. You are not an animal, okay? That is just your vessel. What you are is you are a spiritual being, okay? No, I'm sorry. What am I doing? Oh, let me do this. All right. So you are not an animal. That is just your vessel, okay? So this animal, mammalian body is just your vessel. That you are not a spiritual being having a human experience either, right? That's the common thing that everybody says, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, spiritual being having a human experience, right? No, you're not just a spiritual being having a human experience, right? Because the spirit is just one part of you, right? It's strictly your breathing and how it helps you to vibrate. It helps your frequency, right? When you're breathing like that, there's usually something tense, right? There's usually fight or flight enacted. When you're like this, you're in rest and digest mode, right? You're in a different spirit, right? So controlling your spirit is the main goal of your existence, knowing how to manage your spirit in different situations, in times of hardship, in times of struggle, in times of unexpected difficulty, knowing how to raise your vibration, knowing if there's a situation that you got to lower the vibration and get into that animal mode, right? How to handle it, right? How to manage it. And actually not to ever really engage in the animal mode, right? Unless you're like working out or doing something that requires like heavy lifting or aggressive movement, right? The animal mode should be the last thing. Even Bruce Lee explained how when you're fighting, right, you should be at peace. You should be in a state of zen when you are actually fighting so that you have your higher faculties and higher state of awareness, right, in a space. Like I remember even as a kid, right, I would be fighting sometimes. I didn't know nothing about none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I would be fighting sometimes, other guys in the park or whatever, and I'd be laughing, you know what I'm saying? And I usually would win these fights. But it's because my mind wasn't focused on me being angry. My mind wasn't focused on being upset. I was laughing because I'm like, yo, let me fuck this dude up. And, I was seeing when the punches were thrown and what direction he was coming and how to throw him to the side or how to approach him because I was in a state of peace. And I didn't even realize it by just laughing and not treating it like something serious. So you're not just a spiritual being having a human experience. You're a soul, right? Soul meaning sun, right? The sun is the star. Scientifically speaking, you're made of stardust. So you're having a spiritual experience in a human body. So you're a soul, right? You're a soul having a spiritual experience in a human body. And that soul is generated through your lower three chakras. Okay. Your root chakra, what you're rooted in, right? What is your foundation, right? What are you channeling every day? That is what you're rooted in, right? Just like your plants or a flower or a tree has roots, right? Those roots are what provides the food to the plant to help it grow, to help it ascend, to help it branch off, right? And branches also look like the synapses in the brain, right? So we're really nothing but trees. If you think of chlorophyll and melanin is the same thing, right? Light, it converts light to energy just like melanin does, converts light to energy. No different than Black Panther suit is melanin. So your soul is that. And look, even the lower three chakras, right? One chakra is the solar plexus, right? And once you pass the solar plexus, or once your energy rises past the solar plexus, doing breathing exercises and dance in some sort of trance, right? Once your solar plexus or you're healed your solar plexus and you transcended the ego, the attachment to the physical world, the attachment to I got it. I'm not going to be happy unless I get the right girlfriend. I'm not going to be happy until I have this car. I'm not going to be happy until I have this house. I'm not going to be happy until I manifest, this threesome, until I have two wives, et cetera, et cetera. All these human desires, right, that are going to put me in a state of not even just happiness, joy, and peace, right? I'm not going to be at peace until I have these things. These are all these animal urges that are trapped in the solar plexus, right? The ego, right? Self-esteem, the wanting to shine, the wanting to be the man, right? But if you generate this energy and project it upward to the heart chakra, which deals with the inner child, to which deals with you. Now, when we talk about an inner child, right? Let's look at children, right? Let's make this practical. A child, the child is not like, there's no racism in a child no matter what culture or color they are. There's no racism, there's no bias. Their imagination is crazy, right? They can imagine anything, can play with anything and make toys or a story out of anything, right? And they're pure, right? They're a clean slate, right? They're ready to be programmed. They say within the first 7 years of life is the most important parts of a child's development, right? Because that is when a child is most malleable, most able to teach a child 2 to 3 languages during that child. So getting to that child high state of the heart is ultimately the goal, right? So that you can approach like not childish, but childlike, right? Always with a smile, always with shit. The parents could be going through divorce, going through hell, right? whatever. And a child would just go be arguing. A child might cry, whatever, and then after a while, they might go to a space and pick up motherfucking some scissors, and this will be whatever, Green Lantern, right? And they'll be walking, Green Lantern, beam, right? And that is the state of peace, right? That is the state that we all want to enjoy in the world. We want people that we could collaborate with. We want people that know that they are soul beings having a spiritual experience in this human body, right? But the soul power has to come with you changing whatever your desires are, your inner desires. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So you are a soul having a spiritual experience in a human body, and your goal is to master the soul's directive for higher things, higher purposes, right? Higher faculties, above just the money, above just the love, above just, when the aliens coming, above just when's the next tragedy, above just the spiritual protection, but what you are giving to the world, what type of purity you have in your own heart, right? How are you treating other people, et cetera, et cetera. This is where the magic comes from. The higher you vibrate, the more magnetism you have, the stronger your inner self is, the the better the frequency of your heart pumps differently. It puts you in a peaceful state. It puts you in that rest and digest, which taps into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the paranormal within you. That paranormal, that magnetism now you're talking about now, this helps you manifest all these physical, tangible things for the purpose of you bringing more light into the world, you being quote unquote the son of man. Put a one in the chat if that makes sense, right? When I'm talking about being a soul being and a symbol. Put a one in the chat. Hopefully that wasn't confusing to you. So all this time, right, you have been told that you are a human mammal, an upright animal, right? This is how we were taught science class, right, in school. That we are this animal, right? Come out of caves. We got to reprogram all these ideas, right? All these ideas before we even talk about magic and spirituality. We got to know first and foremost who the fuck we are, especially melanated beings, right? So you're not a human mammal, right? Or upright animal. You are not the caveman. In fact, you are the sand bushman. And the sand bushmen are ancient people, right? Or indigenous people from the landmass of what they call Africa, but really you are Pangea, right? With before the continental drift of all these different continents, split by the seven seas and things like that, right? Before all that happened, it was one landmass called Pangea, and you erupted through, or you came through the middle of that landmass, right? As the first people, which would be the Sand Bushmen, okay? Which are the people on the right. So this is your initial origin, right? These are the people, and these are really small people. I'll explain to you why in a second, right? But let's keep going. Peace, great goodness, goddess. All right. So this is where you come from. Okay. So a little history about this. Okay. The Dogon tribe. The Dogon tribe are people from ancient Kemet, right? If you study the Dogon tribe, they come from ancient Kemet. They were people that left when the Ptolemies and all these people, started invading, because they knew already they were able to communicate through the pyramids, right? They were able to meditate and communicate, or do necromancy and communicate with the dead. And the dead were able to tell them, okay, this is going to happen. Prepare, right? Just like, prepare for 2020, right? Start taking these herbs, start eating a certain way, right? Prepare yourself, right? So it's the same thing. They were prepared that, okay, things were changing. Just like I'm telling y'all, 2024 is going to be a year of ups and downs, right? It's going to be a year where you're probably going to see some type of disruption from what we're used to. And you're already seeing that. Like AI is even changing everything. In fact, they have some new AI called Agent. But let me slow down so this is not a 4-hour video. So the Dogon tribe, right? state that we come from Sirius B through Orion's belt, and then to Earth as fish mermaids called nomos, then to land as pygmies, which are also called the Telem. The pygmies or the Telem are the sand bushmen, right? Which is on the right. So this is where we come from. Dogon's tribe stories speak about visitors from the stars. They explain that a race of people, you and I, and science even knows that we have alien DNA in us, right? Those that are melanated beings. That a race of people from the Sirius star system called Nomos visited Earth thousands of years ago. The Nomos were amphibious beings that the Nomos are amphibious beings that resembled mermen and mermaids, not the cute kind. The teachings and wisdoms of the Nomos also appeared in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths. So it's obvious these are some of the most ancient cultures on the planet: Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian, right? You guys heard of Incan, Enlil, and things like that. So the Nomos and the teachings and the wisdoms are in these myths. The Nomos, according to Dogon legend, lived on a planet that orbits another star in the Sirius system. They landed on Earth in the Ark. Interesting enough, the Ark is in the Bible. You know, the story of the Ark never made sense to me at all, even when I was a kid. I'm like, how is, giraffes and elephants and, tigers and all these animals on the earth, right, fitting in this one ark? Also, they're predators. How's every single animal on earth going to fit into something the size of a football field, right? It's impossible, okay? Impossible. So it just shows you these things are allegories in the Bible, right? These things are myths, not to be taken literally. So the Nomos, according to Dogon legend, lived on a planet that orbits. Okay, they landed on Earth in an ark that made a spinning descent to the ground with great noise and wind, creating a great lake. So the Great Lake would be the oceans, obviously. It was the Nomos that gave the Dogon the knowledge about Sirius B and Sirius C. And this is from the Sirius Mystery by Robert Temple on the right. This is what the Nomos look like. So essentially, what this is saying is that we come from fish, right? We come from fish. And once as fish, we evolved from fish, came up on land, and the first man was the pygmy or the sand bushman, aka the Telem, right? Soldier boy Telem, right? Or the Telem, which was the pygmy. And then over time, we grew and evolved, right, during that time period. But this is how we came to Earth. This is the story, right? This is the origin. So you have an understanding that you do come from the cosmos. This is why, again, there's science out there. You can look this up, where melanated people have alien DNA. They don't know where the DNA comes from. They don't know what it is, right? And it is passed down through us, aka HeLa, right? Henrietta Lacks cells, right? These everlasting cells that live on forever, right? Those are alien cells, right? They don't know where they come from either. Okay. So all these things are within us, those of us that are heavily melanated. That doesn't mean that, again, if you're not heavily melanated, that you can't tap in. I'm just speaking to the people that that look like me and that are incarnated in this avatar and the work that we have to do for this particular time. And the way we are programmed is totally different than any other culture on the planet. All right. So now you have an idea of where you come from and what you truly are. So you have to understand that you are not of this earth. You are not of this earth. You are not of this earth. You are the Anunnaki or the Anunnaki or Nagi or Naga, right? You are the new one, right? Don't be looking and don't be listening to these stories where these people are telling you, oh, it was an alien race and they enslaved us for gold and made us work for. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. And the people who don't do research, I'm not knocking nobody, I'm just saying what it is. Eventually, when you start doing your own research, you realize that too. But a lot of people are just telling people stories because they know most people don't research and they just don't believe it. It just sounds good. But that ain't it, all right? These same people will tell you aliens built the pyramids and all that shit too, right? But we know it's just melanated people who most likely use cymatics or the power of sound to move things, which the power of sound can't do. So let's continue going. So this is part one of the 5 things, those 5 ways that we use the program. Y'all know I always talk about this, right? And one of the things I'll always talk about, because it's something that's helped me tremendously throughout my life, tremendously, right? And keeps me on point, help me get rid of do some shadow work, heal depression, right? My anxiety, etc., fears, right? Etc., etc. And that is meditation, reprogram. The only way out of any issue, problem, challenge, struggle, right? Poverty, depression, anxiety, stress is in. Okay? The only way out is in. You cannot buy peace of mind. You cannot buy love, right? You cannot buy having people that genuinely want your best interest or have your best interest at heart. That is not something you could purchase from the dollar store or purchase at Louis Vuitton or purchase at Gucci or purchase at Rolls Royce. The only way you can get this peace of mind is through going within yourself and healing yourself. And these are the deities that represent this, okay? And ultimately, the goal is to get to the state of Osor, which is what the Commissions, the Greeks call Osiris, but Osor is a representative of that. Also, if you look at the Hebrew Kabbalah, it would be the Sephiroth of Kether, okay? So Osset is really the foundation of the meditation. If you look on top of her head, you see she has a let me do this. You see she has a chair, right? It looks like a chair is on top of her head. And this is the representation of being seated, right, in a meditative state, right? The ability to be calm and relaxed in order to tap into your instinctual, right? Because you have the same way animals have instinct, believe it or not, you have an instinct too, okay? Believe it or not, you have an instinct, and that instinct is what got you to watching these type of videos. That instinct is what has you looking at Black Magic 363 or Brother Yosef, or any of these Trav, all these other channels, Dream Lives, things like that. Your instinct, there's something within you, right? There's a force within you. There's a calling within you. There's a fire, a solar plexus, right? The need for you to know. There's a need for you to know. There's a need for you to understand the secrets of the universe that your friends that are watching football right now, right, don't have. That are watching movies right now don't have. That are bullshit right now don't have. They don't have this in them, but it is in you because you are meant to do great things here on the planet. You are here to manifest great things on the planet. And they always say when you're angry or upset, right, to sit down. Right? If you're heated, have a seat. It'll help you calm down. Okay. So the goddess was said on the left, it says, is the embodiment of those intuitive and instinctive faculties that lay deep within our psyche, governing our ability to care for and nurture others. So this is ultimately mama energy, right? Mother universe energy, right? Womb energy, right? Again, the womb is where? I just told y'all the bottom 3 chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar. Isn't that where you come from when you come out your mama? You come out your mama's womb. That is the location where you are. That is where your soul, right? Because you are solar, right? When your mom and your daddy and that sperm hits the egg and makes a spark of light, which is solar energy, right? And then the zygote's formed. This mama energy, this womb energy is what the universe is. It's a nurturing aspect. The whole Milky Way galaxy, the whole universe is here for you to grow and grow past the physical reality into the spiritual reality and ultimately the universal reality. Okay? And that is when you become a star. That is when you have your own galaxy. That is when you become an Australia, right? And so it says, again, is what says the embodiment of those intuitive and instinctive faculties. This is God instinct, right? That lay deep within our psyche, governing our ability to care for and nurture others. People in who this faculty is strongly developed are very protective, caring, and nurturing. These qualities amongst the Cometians and other Africans were most desirable in mothers and wives. Okay, so Other aspect of this picture is the Black Madonna and child, as I said, right? It's another aspect of it. And this faculty is again you nurturing your spirit, right? Through meditation, through reflection, which is representative seated. There's a famous European picture of a man sitting, the thinking man, right? Him sitting down with his hand on his chin, right, and him pondering, the universe, so to speak. This is another aspect of this, right? But this faculty, this instinct, or this intuitive faculty within yourself has to be developed, and this is ultimately your subconscious that runs everything in your body, that causes your atoms to spin, that controls your digestion, that controls when you go to sleep. The goal is to make that subconscious conscious. And making that subconscious conscious, going to the right now turns you into an Osir. So since this is Osir, your true self, your true, entire, only and ultimate purpose for being on earth is the resurrection of this indwelling intelligence, God instinct, okay? Not the animal instinct that is tied to, you being sex, money, sex, and violence. That is an animal within you, the material world, okay? Being caught up in drama, dark skin, light skin, right? Being caught up in the roof chakra with the animal. Now it is about you being tapped in to who you truly are. And even if you think about the normal, right? You look at the normal picture, the normal fish right here on the right, take a quick snapshot, and you look at the head, the crown of Orser. It looks like a fish, right? It looks like this normal, you know? It looks like this normal fish. So this is what it is that you're in. So this intelligence that it may guide your endeavors in life with the same omniscience that it uses to guide your physiological and subconscious mental activities. That is the goal, to make your subconscious conscious, to make your daydreams serve you, right? I did a video the other day, my hot mornings, right? Where your goal is for when you have these daydreams, okay, you're thinking, okay, this is the goal that I have to manifest this for me and my family. This is the goal that aligns with my purpose, okay? If I do this, okay, how can I get to this so that it enhances my purpose or enriches my purpose, okay, here on the planet? How can I, be more of a steward to that? What is it that I need to eliminate? Am I too angry? Am I too lazy, right? Am I waiting for someone to save me, right? Do I see myself as not good enough, not worthy enough, right? All these parts of yourself is what, and we daydream whether we want to or not, right? Whether we want to or not, daydreams are natural. So the goal is to have the portion of us that is pumping our blood right now as we speak, that's regulating our breath right now as we speak, right? That is fighting off germs and diseases, right? And doing cellular activity, right? Right now as we speak, that we're not even conscious of with these two eyes, right? And we're not even focused on, that is running on automatic, that part of yourself is now at the forefront, that it is guiding you through spiritual practices, right? And one of the ways is meditation, right? So you also tap into these deities, which I'm going into. And this is why Auser and Osset, right, are part of this. Also, if you look at the name Osset, you see that Set is in the name, okay? Set is the deity that if you look at Set, which I did a video a while ago, but if you look at Set, Set is an animal. Set looks like an animal, looks like half like an aardvark, right? A donkey, right? Set represents an animal, right? So this just shows you how all Set, right? Also, all Set has the mantra Om, right? Which vibrates the waters within you. But this is also the stirring of the psyche, okay? No, we're not dissing the animal. The animal definitely has its place, like I said, for warfare, right? For if you have a lifting, right? For even, you know, um, like I said, fitness, things like that, motivation, the ability to you know provide to enrich the ego, definitely has its place. You know what I'm saying? But the goal is not to be not to. The animal's supposed to serve you. That's what the Sphinx, the whole science of the Sphinx is about. The animal's meant to serve you. If you want to learn more about this, right, and dive into this yourself, you should get this book, Metal Nettle Volume 1, right? This is where a lot of this comes from, right? And this is one of the books that will tap into these different deities and what they represent. But these are just energy matrices, all right? Energy matrices. And Set also represents Saturn, okay, which we talked about earlier when we're dealing with cipher, okay? So Set represents the physical world, the animal world, you, the human mammal, okay? You, the human mammal, your animal instincts that are within you to eat, sleep, shit, and just want to be comfortable, lay up, be comfortable, right? Be in the comfort zone, right? That is what you're, even, right? The science will tell you this, right? That is your brain is always going to wire you to be in your comfort zone, even if it's not good for you. Your brain is always wants you to be safe and comfortable, right? It's always going on how you program it, right? So I remember when I was like a heavy cigarette smoker, you know what I'm saying? Heavy, like smoking like, you know, 10 cigarettes a day, right? It was a program. And it's hard to stop because my body was used to having nicotine in its body at certain times. So I couldn't stop the heavy smoke, right? I had to continue going because it's a program that I program myself. And this is the God part of you. You program yourself, all right? So that's the whole idea of Set. Not to say you can't. Now Set is a deity. You could tap into Set, and you could use that if you need particular discipline, right? In particular, you need to learn structure and order, right? Which is what the universe is. The universe is orderly, right? That's what the ring of Saturn represents, the orderly universe. What goes around comes back around again. You have circular fingerprints on your hands, right? You have a circular head, right? You have circular knees, etc. You're in your large intestine and your small intestine, right? Using a circular matter, right? Within those bottom three chakras, right? So again, it's about empowering the womb on the bottom three chakras and raising the frequency high enough so that you can become into an Osarian being in which you are balanced and your subconscious is running conscious. So let's continue going. So the goal again is for the subconscious to run the conscious, right? To be one with all, Allah, arm, leg, arm, head, right? With the all. And this is also a representation of the same thing. You see Set, right, in her root type of, because the female deities, especially when it comes to Phoenician deities slash Egyptian deities, always are transformable, right? Just like a woman is like a chaos vehicle, or a woman is a vehicle that could move, emotional energy. Emotion is just energy and motion. So we know women are highly emotional, right? And they are able to switch different emotions, things like that. So you'll see a lot of these female deities, especially connect with different attributes of each other or the ability to transform into each other because it represents a woman's nature, right? These are also called rules because they represent nature or natural forces. And Heru on the left is representative of the will. So your willpower, right? And not the willpower that is moved by force, right? But moved through spiritual power or your Arsenian nature, right? You're wanting, right, to nurture yourself to become more safe, right? You're nurturing your spirit, so to speak, to come into your highest or your most high self, right? So these are the two faculties for the subconscious to run the conscious. So this is one way for you to start meditating if you don't know how to meditate, right? It's very simple. This is the four. This is the 4-7-8 breath. All right, 4-7-8 breathing. You could lie down or sit up. Right. I represent. Obviously, I'm recommending you sit up, right, and exhale through the mouth. I'm not. No, that's not what I would say. You're going to inhale and exhale through the nose. So you'll be sitting up, right? Your tongue in the soft tissue, or put the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Very simple, right? Or right behind your upper front teeth. You inhale through the nose through the count of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for a count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to release it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? When you're breathing in, right, naturally, and you can do this now, when you're breathing in, it's automatically going to expand your abdomen or your lower 3 chakras, right? When you breathe out, it's going to automatically contract your lower 3 chakras or your abdomen, right? This is how you start to source energy. This is why meditation is so powerful, right? So this is an easy technique if you don't know how to meditate to get started, right? Breathing, finding a place to sit, breathing in 4 times, right? Holding it 7, and breathing out 8 times. And what this does is repatterns the nervous system, right? Remember I was talking to you just now about the parasympathetic or the paranormal, and there is sympathetic, right? Which is the paranormal, which is the rest and digest, and the sympathetic, which is fight or flight, aka the animal frequency, right? So by doing this, right, at least morning and evening, right, start off like that, right, morning, right when you wake up, right after bed. Eventually, you'll start to tap in to your true essence, your true God self. You start to get ideas, and shit might even start to happen, right? People might start to separate, right? Things might start to fall apart. You lose friends and family members. You might lose a boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Might shit might happen at the job, right? All these things are preparing you for something better, for something higher, for something more powerful, right? For a brand new beginning that is going to be way more beneficial than where you currently are. So it's very important to tap into this, right? Now let's keep it going. So this is one of the ways, right? One of the ways that you're going to be able to tap into your magical and miraculous mind. I can't tell you how many miracles I've had in my life, from getting shot at, right, to none of the bullets hitting me, where the dude was right behind me, right, firing off at me, to being in prison, no scars on my face, no nothing, right, to having something on my record, a violent crime on my record, and being able to work in places where I shouldn't be working, right? So having my car payment, like just manifesting women, like just situations that would never happen if I wasn't doing this type of work, right? Now, this doesn't mean that this is the only way you can manifest miracles, right? But this is key to you being as light as a feather, so to speak, so that you could understand and be protected, right? And be at one with you, be one with yourself and your ancestors. But you have to tap in. There's no other way. You gotta meditate on this path. And not, or else you're just a smart nigga, right? That's impressing your friends and impressing your family, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're here to do. But you're gonna have to come back, right? Reincarnate and come back to be in tune with who you are, and your next reincarnation may be more difficult than it is now, right? You may reincarnate as a Caucasian in Europe, right, in the middle of motherfucking Israel and Gaza. You know what I'm saying? You're a kid now, doing it all over again. Because you didn't take the time, like you had the resources and the comfort level to tap in on your own. So this is what this spiritual work is really about, right? This is what this magical work is really about. It's about making yourself magical, but you can't sit on the sidelines. You got to be in the game. So another two, part 2, right? Ancestral altars, right? Ancestral altars, activating ancestors. Another word for this is necromancy, right? Necromancy shouldn't be a word that scares you or anything. That's all it is. It's ancestral communication. This is not ancestral worship, right? We're not here to worship on this path, on this side, right? On this side, we don't worship nothing, right? We interact, we communicate, we quantum entangle, and we work with. But we are not here worshiping. This is not a praise dance where we're saying, "Oh, thank you, ancestor." Thank no. Well, let me say this. Let me slow down. Yes, we want to be grateful. Yes, we want to thank our ancestors. Yes, we want to honor our ancestors, right? But the purpose of doing that is not just to be a worshiping ass, begging ass, pleading ass, annoying ass, please, please, please ass nigga. No, it's for them to give you information, for them to show you things, right? For them to give you some wisdom, right? And then for your ass to get moving and roll with it, right? So how you set up an ancestor altar, very, very easy, right? Look on the left, you see the ancestral pictures, right? So Uncle Joe, right? Obviously, let's just call him Uncle Joe, right? Uncle Joe smoked cigarettes, right? So they got the cigarette right there, right? He ate mints, so they got the mints right there, right? This is now there's a movie on Amazon Prime that just came out this weekend called Silver, and they were talking about having an anchor, right? It's a good movie, has some bullshit in it, right? Towards the end, but it's a good movie for it just for like basic understanding of spiritual or magic in particular, right? Esoteric magic. And you have to have an anchor, right? So he was telling the girl that in order to go into the dream world, right? He was in a dream. There was a character in a dream with his little sister. I'm not spoiling it, I'm just telling you a little part. And he had to have his little sister's sock in order to go into her dream. Because the little sister's sock was the anchor, right? That brought him into and he was like doors and all that. And he would open the door into his little sister's dream and that allowed him to see what she was dreaming about. So this is the same thing, right? If you have something, a picture, you know what Uncle Joe liked, right? He smoked cigarette, he drank Wild Irish Rose, right? Like it says, perfume, makeup, books, purses, and other items that they liked, right? The candle, right? Fire, right? Flame, fire, light, right? Bringing light to things, the crystals representing the earth. These are the four elements, right? Food offerings, what they like to eat, right? You can put the plate there. Don't be leaving the plate. If you got critters and shit like that, you can put it there, right? Cover it, etc. You don't have to leave it open. Put it there, cover it, right? After a while, you can take it off, right? You have to leave it there until everything. It's just a ceremonial practice again to connect with that energy matrix or that star that is in the sky. There's a star in the sky for all of us. All the stars in the sky, there is a star for you. There's a star that's Rob Watson, right? It's not named Rob Watson, but there's a star that literally, as above, so below, that literally is for my energy. All your ancestors are stars. There's a star out there. This is why the universe keeps expanding, because there's more and more humans being born, and there's more and more humans being died or dying, right? In the physical. So there's a star. We're made of stardust. So if we're made of stardust, the scientific tells us that as above, so below. Okay? So you are a star. Okay? Don't ever not think you are. You're no different than that sun out there, just not in size and scope. Okay? So again, food offerings, right? You could write names of relatives, paper on the book, put a plant or a tree to represent family tree or unknowns, right? And ancestor money, okay? Air is represented by the incense, right? Burning ancestor money, that's something I do on a regular basis, right? It's a great way to show them. Now, your ancestors maybe didn't deal with dollars, okay? Maybe they were exchanging cows, right? Maybe they were exchanging fruit, right? Maybe they would exchange, okay, if you build my home, right? You build me a house, right? Then I'll provide you, a dowry or something like that, right? And that could be, 12 horses and some shit like that, right? So ancestor money is just a representation of you wanting to give them currency, not necessarily the money or the dollar itself. It's a currency or a current of energy. This is called quantum entanglement. So you start dreaming about them. You'll start in your daydreams, right? Again, those daydreams when you're working, when you're driving, when you're traveling, whatever. When you're sitting down watching TV, and all of a sudden some shit comes in your head, right? They listen to music, right? Daydream, so that these ancestors will now start coming into, and you can do this with any ancestor. It doesn't have to necessarily be somebody that is from your actual bloodline, right? It could be a celebrity, it could be a historical figure, someone you admire, and you just want to tap into their particular energy so that you can use it while you are here on Earth. So having an ancestor altar is essential because it is a focal point of light. Okay, there's a book, a Kabbalistic book called Ladder of Lights. Okay, and the lights represent different energy. All right, we'll get into that shortly. So, and so number two is working with deities. Okay, so money, right? People want money, you want money, you want abundance, right? In order to be abundant, you have to have a team, right? So working with people and clientele, all right? There's so many people out here that quote unquote spiritual that are doing bad business. You order something, you don't get what you ordered, you know, people get scammed, right? People get manipulated. We all know, we all see the scams, right? And from the characters that are out here on the internet, the people that are scamming, JC the Pocket Watcher is doing a good job exposing a lot of scammers, but there's a lot more that are unexposed that are doing this. People promising things and not delivering. People saying this is going to do this, it doesn't work, right? People guaranteeing if you do a certain spell or ritual, it's going to happen if you buy their thing, right? Like guaranteeing is crazy. I don't even see. I can't. Let me say this. There'll be no way on earth I would guarantee, or I could guarantee, that a spell or ritual you do is going to work. I don't know you. I don't know how you live your life. I don't know, what level you on. I don't know if you're fearful. I don't know if you're a nerve wrack person. I don't know if you're on some psychotropic medication. I don't know if you're sniffing coke every single day, right? I don't know if you're on crack behind the screen. I can't guarantee that it'll work for you, but I will tell you if you do this, most likely it should work for you. You know what I'm saying? If you follow the exact steps, because it's worked for me and it's worked for others, it will work for you. But I can never guarantee because I don't know what the fuck you are and what the fuck you're really doing behind the screen. So be careful of these people who guarantee if you do this spell, it's going to work. Or guarantee if you do this, you're going to manifest with exactly what you want. Especially when people be talking about within a certain 28-day period. Like, are you crazy? You might be trying to manifest. You may really say, okay, I'm going to manifest $1 million and you homeless. You know what I'm saying? You homeless. You ain't got a pot to piss in. Or you hate rich people. Everybody that's successful, you think they're part of the Illuminati. These people that every entertainer that's successful is part of the Illuminati. They drinking blood, you know what I'm saying? They eating babies, right? Everybody, right? Nobody actually did hard work. Nobody actually grinded. Nobody actually hustled to get there. Nobody Illuma grinded as Memphis Bleak said, right? Illuma grinded, right? Nobody did that. It's just, secret societies maybe. And that's a way to distract you from being your best version of you, right? And it's a way also for you to be jealous. So my aunt, right? This is about working with people and clientele, right? My aunt actually, believe it or not, is a money deity. Okay? It does govern business. A person like Jeff Bezos, so to speak, right? Jeff Bezos has millions and millions, if not billions, of people working under him, right? Now, without talking about his business practices or how, kind of slave drives people, right, at Amazon. I worked at Amazon one day and I quit. I went to the bathroom. I had this thing on me. They're like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Using the bathroom too long. I was like, oh, I was in the bathroom too long. What? That was it for me. You ain't gonna slave. But what I am saying is that in order for him to run a successful business, you have to be able to manage people and you have to have a sense of empathy. Now, the next version of Amazon, whatever that will be, as we go into an augmented reality or AGI, right? Or artificial generative intelligence, right? As we go into that time, AI time, there's going to be a different type of Amazon that is needed, right? Where the people aren't being slave driven, where the people can use the bathroom for more than 15 minutes before their 15-minute break if need be, right? We're going to need something like that, right? So this is where this Ma'at energy comes into business. Ma'at is about balance, ultimately, right? And it is ultimately about being light as a feather or representing the feather. And the feather is your thinking, right? You see feathers back in the days, they used to write with feathers. Those were the original pens, okay? So it's a representation of this cosmic harmony, right? I am healthy and balanced. I am always in a state of grace. It is easy for me to see all sides of a situation, right? How many employers are making billions upon billions and they're paying the people that work for them pennies, right? Barely enough to survive them. But they got 20 homes, 30 cars, right? Uh, 50 planes and shit like that, right? But the people that work for them could barely survive, right? Same thing in the church, right? The preacher getting all this tithe money, and he got a Bentley, he got waterfront property, right? But the people that his parishioners are starving, they're hungry, they're barely making it, right? And the parishioners on the jam, the church won't even give them no tithe money. They won't even help them. The rent is low. They won't even give them any money to help them, you know? So we want to live in a universe that is fair, where we're empathetic, where we are able to see things from all sides. And the only way you can do that is to tap into your inner self. And your inner self will allow you to see people for who they are. But this is a spiritual gift. Most people are selfish. Most people are caught up in just them, just what they want. And this is why the world is what it is, because we have people that are on their animal shit, right? And in fact, there's some animals who are more, because of their instinct, they're more humane than most humans are, okay? Because of their inner, they are forced, right, through their instinct to act according to their nature, where a man can act like a beast, a rat, a hog, a dog, right? Or a god if he or she so see fit. So it is easy for me to see all sides of the situation. The divine order of the universe supports me in health and happiness. It is easy for me to be fair, honest, and impartial. My life is balanced within and without. My life is harmonious. Okay. So this is truth. This is justice. This is morality. This is integrity. Okay. And this is what you need to do when you're doing business, keeping your word, when you're working with people, being honest, right? Being truthful, right? Etc., etc. These are the things that we all want. Okay, we all want to work with people that are true and just. We all want to have people around us that have our best interests, that have some sort of, not necessarily morality, right, but universal law, right, that understand the principles of universal law and are able to implement them and live by them, right? And integrity, right? We all want them. And these are the principles of Ma'at, all right? And this will also, you can work with her and do Lakshmi, okay? Ma'at and Lakshmi, which is an Indish Kush deity, they're on the same frequency, all right? So they're the same God, just a different place. Indish Kush is where, Indish Kush is where, and this Kush is just another place for India, right? There's a lot of melanated beings in India, but because they have a caste system, people look down people look down on what you call on the melanated people there in India, right? But my aunt and Lakshmi, same nigga. Okay? You can see that in this book, Meta Netta. It'll show you the correspondences, and once you do research, you'll see it's just the same deity, gods and goddesses representing the same light or the same energy in a different form. Okay. So Lakshmi is the union of male and female energy. Six-pointed star is her symbol. Fruit, candy, coins, milk, flowers, and anise are her offerings. Okay. So when you have your altar, right, you could get your altar. On this ancestral altar, you could get a statue of Lakshmi. You can get a picture, right, and you put those offerings right there. Okay. And that is one of the ways you can tap into that particular energy. Okay. Also, The 6-pointed star is a layout. So this is another way, okay? If you have the space and a 6-pointed star, you can do this type of ritual, meditate, right? And create this diagram on the floor, okay? And another way to get money, right? Another way to get good clientele if you have a business, right? And it connects the heart chakra and the mental plane. So it's the higher and lower self. Whenever you see the 6-pointed star, right? It's always a representative of a higher and lower self united at the heart, okay? And the heart basically empowering the higher and lower self, aka knowing when to use the animal, when you gotta stand up for yourself, when you gotta speak up for yourself, when you gotta be assertive or aggressive, or when you gotta be laid back, when you gotta think about the situation, even avoid certain situations, right? And this energy will do that. This allows you to communicate effectively with people, which will bring you financial opportunities naturally, which will bring you people that will want to see you win and want to provide you with wisdom on how to gain money, on how to tap into the stock market, on how to invest, on how to find a job, on how to grow in your career, right, et cetera, right? So this is one of the energies you can tap in, and you can tap into the Lakshmi mantra, which is something you can easily find on YouTube. All right, very easy to find, and you can listen to that in the morning where you're tapping in, or while you're doing those rituals to tap into that energy. Lakshmi and Ma are the same nigga, just a different vessel. Okay, from a different land. It's the same shit. Another one you could tap into for the love energy, all right? Het Haru, right? Het Haru and Oshun are the same people, okay? But I'm gonna show you Het Haru right now. So Het Haru, passion, sensuality, and sexuality, joy and emotion, okay? So it's not what you imagine, it's who's imagining. Are you a human or a divine being? Are you a nigga or are you a god, right? So this is your visualization, right? What you are imagining. What is in your mind's eye? Do you see yourself winning in everything? Do you see yourself successful in anything? No matter what you're going through in this physical world, do you visualize yourself in a different space? Because tapping into, again, that subconscious part of yourself, which is where your imagination is that divine part of yourself. So reasoning. At her root corresponds to one of the tools through which behavior is programmed. Through the understanding of the law, such programming can be done at will. If we have the tools to program any desired behavior at will, then we can choose to allow only peace and pleasure to manifest as our emotional reaction to all events. Now, as humans, through the media, through sitcoms, through reality shows, through movies, we're taught to react. Right? When people get angry in the movies, what do? They'll throw a glass or flip the table, right? That's an animalistic response to stress, to struggle, right? But it's dramatic, so it stirs your emotions, right? It stirs your passions, right? There's a sensuality or senses about it that it stirs, right? So it makes you think that this is the way that you're supposed to react, that is the way human beings, right, should react, like animals, not like gods, but like animals, right? Where you could take this, sit down, whatever this problem is, sit down, review it, uh, be calm, go into meditation, take or go walk in nature, different ways to cope, go ground, right? Take a spirit bath, et cetera, to respond to whatever the challenge or the problem or the issue is, right? Or even get on your altar, right? And communicate with Uncle Joe, right? Or Auntie Sally, right? And sit by your altar and ask questions and wait for you till you get the answers, right? This is part of the work. So my ability, Taryn had her truisms, my ability to cope, and these are just mantras, my ability to cultivate through trance the experience of joy for living by divine law, as the sword does, greatly enhances my chances of success in my pursuits of life. Two, I will myself to be joyful, therefore I am successful in life and health. Joy is the engine of success, and it comes from within, therefore I am Nasir. I cannot be other than joyful. I am joyful because I will myself to be joyful. So was Friday morning, right? I woke up on the other side of the bed, so to speak. I woke up and I wasn't like I just woke up in the mood, like, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was just in the mood, you know what I'm saying? I felt down, so to speak, right? And I didn't do nothing, I ain't whatever. I just woke up, and we all have those days, right, where you wake up and you're just in a frame of mind. So what did I do, right? First thing I did, okay, let me make a cup of tea. Let me make some St. John's water, right? Put some ashwagandha in it, right? So I'll make that. I know that those herbs and the tea help improve my mood, right? Then, okay, let me do that during the day. Let me go get some grapefruit juice. Grapefruit is a natural mood enhancer. So let me get some grapefruit juice, right? Go to the corner store, get some grapefruit juice, drink that on to add on top of it. Now by noon, right, 11:30 noon, that frequency or that vibration that was in me, right, I've now harnessed my body's energy, harnessed this animal vehicle now to serve me instead of letting that mood take me and me saying, oh, today's gonna be one of those days. Oh, it's gonna be them days. Oh shit, here we go. Oh, I just feel like shit today. Ain't nothing gonna go right. Right? Instead of doing that, no, let me fight, right? Let me fight this thing, right? Now this is stepping into using the ego, right? Using that solar plexus or using that soul. And now I'm channeling that energy upward. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about by your soul being. Because the soul is your light, but that light, that fire, you gotta throw laws in that fire. And this is part of you doing the spiritual work. And this is how you get into that space of joy. So, and also because I program myself also when I wake up with affirmations, right? Even when my brain might, right? Because your brain, again, it only can go by how you program it. So my brain, even though I may be feeling left, automatically there's parts where it's going to be like, nah, I'm not going to accept this when a negative thought comes up. No, I'm not going to accept it. Even though my body is telling me one thing, I'm not going to accept the thought that my body is bringing in to the universe. And this is what this work is. And as I accept more positive, higher vibrational thoughts, now I'm raising I'm going up the 33 vertebrae of my spine, right? And tapping into the Christ consciousness of my brain, so to speak, right? Tapping into both hemispheres of my brain, and my prefrontal cortex is now working for me, not against me. And for most people, their prefrontal cortex is working against them because all they're programmed with is the media, family, friends, etc. Those 8 things we talked about earlier. So it's not what you are imagining, it's who you are imagining. So you have to identify yourself. Whether you're a human or you're a god, right? That's it. There's only 2 things you could be. Be a human, well, really, you could be a human, a god, or an animal, a little beast, right? Here on earth. We all know people live beast way of life, right? So you have to will yourself to be joyful, no matter what the situation is. And these are the tools that will help you. So Heru is one of those deities that will help with that, right? And this is energy in motion, how you're moving your energy, how you're moving your frequency. How you're moving frequency is what you do frequently. This is who you are, not the books that you fucking read, not the YouTube that you watch, right? What you're actually doing in real time, in real life. Not how fly your dashiki is, you know what I'm saying? Or how bright, your motherfucking crystals are. It's what you do during these times. You wake up, you have a challenge. Everybody can be spiritual and high vibrational when things are going well. Everybody, anybody, everybody, right? When things are going well, it's easy to be spiritual. It's easy to say you're a god when everything's going well. But when things are going bad, who are you really? What do you imagine? Do you go back into the human? Do you go back into the animal? Or do you rise above? And that's when you really know that you're really about this life. Okay. And that even goes in relationships, right? You don't know who you're with until some shit really hits the fan. And then you really know, okay, this motherfucker's for me or they're against me. So Heru taps into Oshun. Oshun is the goddess of sweet waters. Again, they're the same nigga, just from a different place, right? Oshun is a Aruba goddess, sweet water goddess, right? Offerings to Oshun are going to be the same offerings to Heru, just like the offerings to Lakshmi are the same offerings to Ma'at, okay? So Oshun, goddess of sweet waters, right? The sweet waters is uh, orange, right? Taps into the sacral chakra. This is the secretions or the sacred energy, right? For your creativity, etc., etc. A lot of people that are, especially women, even men, but women that are promiscuous, they're tapped into this particular Oshun high sexual energy and doing it in the physical world, right? So they're having a lot of sex and wanna, have a lot of orgasms. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you're just quote unquote being a hoe, right? Being a whore, right? Just for that particular feeling. Really, some of that energy you're supposed to be using to be creative, to fuel your imagination, to fuel your perspective, to fuel your perception, to fuel your prefrontal cortex, to raise that sacral, aka sacred energy, again, up from the root to the sacral, right? To the solar plexus. Now your self-esteem is rooted in you being a divine being. Now your ego is rooted in you being a divine being and seeking the divine things. So now it's raised into the heart chakra, right? So again, all this is about you churning this energy up to the higher chakras or the higher self, right? Your internal self or your subconscious mind and making it conscious. So offerings again, honey, sunflowers, oranges, mirrors, brushes, cinnamon, sandalwood, and calendula, right? Now, calendula is an interesting herb, okay? Because it says in the right offering, so soon should be given to the river, rivers, the lakes, right? Ocean lights, all right? And if you do an ocean ritual and put it to a river or lake, most likely, right? Like it's most likely, not even most likely, like if you're doing your work and you do that ritual, you'll see some manifestations of what you were looking for, right? As long as you are, again, not just doing the ritual and then going back to your nigger animal lifestyle, all right? Nigger animal lifestyle. So, Calendula, one of the books I want to show y'all is this one, this book, Hoodoo, Herbs, and Magic. All right. Voodoo Herbs and Magic by Catherine. How do you say it? Yaron Wody. Catherine Yaron Wody. Okay. This is a good book on different herbs and what they do. Now, calendula, right? It says that it is blossoms are lucky in money matters because they resemble coins. They send gamblers lucky dreams and are useful in court cases and legal matters. All right. So again, even working with this energy, right, will make you lucky in other arenas, right? Because this is an energy matrix for sacred energy, for creative energy, for blossoming energy. Even sunflowers itself, the actual sunflower is a flower that turns according to the sun. So when the sun is going from the east to the west, the flower itself turns from east to the west before it opens up and blooms. And shortly after it blooms, it actually dies, right? So the open sunflower you see doesn't last too long. But as it is blooming, it's going according to the sun, right? So that's why it is also associated with prosperity. But if you look here, right, there's a different interpretation just to show you how people, look at different things. So this is calendula, which you can get right here from the original Botanica. And, it says calendula flowers. This is what it looks like. Are a beautiful and versatile flower with a rich spiritual history. These vibrant blooms are a powerful tool for connecting to nature and the divine, promoting healing and warding off negativity. Whether you use them for rituals, meditation, or simply as a decoration, calendula flowers are sure to bring joy and positivity in your life. So say you are going through something in your life, right? You need that particular herb or you want to tap into that particular herb to bring joy and prosperity in your life. And this will help stir your imagination to get ideas, all right? To stir your creative energy, that sexual energy, right? To stimulate these ideas in within you, right? And part of burning these herbs or putting them in orange, like for instance, heru or Oshun, burning an orange candle, right? Putting that calendula flower in there. Is there's a level of aromatherapy in there too, right? You even smelling that herb in your home is also adding and enhancing the magic within that spell that you're casting and that deific energy or that light matrix energy that corresponds to joy and happiness. Now it is filling your home where your altar is or where you're doing this particular work. So this is what this is about. And this is why we make these offerings again for quantum entanglement, all right, to become one with what we're working with. Not that we're worshiping, not that we're, oh, shoot, I put this here and oh, I had a dream with Oshun and she was bathing me, right? If you have a dream with Oshun and she's bathing you, then that is something you want to look at, okay? That being, for instance, let's say somebody told me they had a vision of Oshun and she was bathing her in water, right? Me being a dream decoder, I would say, okay, that means that you're supposed to go into your subconscious meditation, go into your subconscious and or dance, right? And see yourself happy, see yourself in a state of joy, right? It's not simply just she's putting you in the or she's bathing you in the ocean. There's a symbolic meaning for a spiritual answer, right? There's a symbolic reason that is showing you that there's a spiritual answer. But signs and symbols are the first language, so that's what you will be able to decode and understand. Again, this is about interacting and how you're going to work here on earth with these particular energies. All right. So these are some of the offerings that you could do. And this is also, Puffy. We see Puff was going through this, right? We're going into the 7th year, the year of the dragon, right? Puff the magic dragon, okay? So Puffy on the left, he has this tattoo, as you see, of Erzuli Dantor, which is, let me do this, Erzuli Dantor, which is a deity that is, well, let's read it, right? Defender of women and children, right? In the Voodoo pantheon, there is an important group of female Loa goddesses whose first name is Erzuli. While all of them share in their role as goddess of love, art, and sex, each has additional areas of life which is there to defend and assist. Erzuli is three in aspect. She can be Erzuli Frida, a virgin goddess linked to the Virgin Mary. All the shoes, well, everything in the Bible is stolen legacy, stolen indigenous science, spiritual science. All right. The Virgin Goddess linked to the Virgin Mary, Ursuli Dantor, Law of jealousy and passion, or La Siren, a personification of the sea and goddess of motherhood. As Frida, her color is pink, her animals are like dove. As Dancer, her colors are blue and gold. She is associated with the Lukumi Orisha Oshun, right, which we just showed, right? Told you the female deities could all take each other's place, but they're all swift and changeable, just like the woman's move, all right? And sometimes Shanga, right, which we know is a male deity. Okay, so just showing you the different ways that they take on energy, and not male and masculine, but male as in physical man like me, but masculine energy, right? Assertive or external energy versus the internal, right, energy of a woman, or womb energy, so to speak. So Puffy had this on his back, right? And it says in the site, what's crazy is he probably only got this on the surface level of her being the goddess of love because he's been on his brother love BS. Didn't even look into her being a fierce protector of women and children. Now, we were talking about Saturn, right, and Cypher earlier, okay, with that being what goes around comes around, or karma, aka cause and effect. So we're seeing a lot of that happen, right? I just saw Tasha K. There was a clip I saw before I got on here in my algorithm where this chick is I forgot her name, but she's coming on Tasha K's and just talking about academics and supposedly celebrities she slept with, and like this is the time where people's dirt is really like being exposed, right? This is a time where people's wrongdoing is being exposed. And a lot of men are being exposed. Even as a man, like I'm fair and balanced. That's what things should be. Shout out to families, right? So like the way I look at this is like, okay, this is showing that men, right, women, a lot of women are doing this work. Not all women, right? There's sexy reds and Sukianas everywhere, right? Not all women, but there's a lot of women that are doing this work, that are raising their vibration, that are tapping into these energies, that are tapping into these deities, that got altars, that are going to therapy, right? That are doing shadow work, right? That are doing Reiki healing or getting Reiki healing, right? They're going to spas, getting colonics, eating healthy, right? There's a lot of this happening. A lot of men just think, yo, all I gotta do is be big, strong, get money, shine, and that's all life is, right? But inside themselves, right, they're hurting spiritually, right? So you can't be playing with this way of life, right? This way of life requires you to be dedicated to it, like a mother is dedicated to a child. This is where all set comes in, all right? It requires you to be dedicated to it the way a mother is dedicated to a child. If you look on the Kemetic tree of life, corresponding to the Hebrew Kabbalah, those who know what the Hebrew Kabbalah is, the Sephiroth of the Assad, right, is no different than the energy of your set, all right? It's just, same type of vibration, same type of frequency, same type of energy. And it's all about you being dedicated to rise up the tree, so to speak, the tree of knowledge, right? Or a tree of life, which is within you at the same time. So this is what Puffy did, and we see Puffy through playing, right? Putting this on his back, not realizing you see they on his back, right? The women is on his back, right? The women and children, the whole Kim Porter thing, right? They on his back. I just saw a freestyle by Mace, Ether and him, some old freestyle he did talking about him and what he did to Biggie's mother, and how he treated his former artists and things like that. And it's like time for men, especially for us to realize that yes, we have the electrical energy, right? But we need to tap into the magnetic energy, which is that feminine part of us, right? And that comes from doing the work, doing the spiritual work and healing our relationships, especially with women, right? It is necessary, and it is something we should be doing at this time and going into the 8th year. And if you need to extend some apologies, there's nothing wrong with that either. As men. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. Don't think that you're less than a man if you reach out to somebody you did dirty or somebody that where things could have got better or things went the wrong turn because of you, and apologize and saying, "Yo, I wasn't in the right state of mind. I heard Rob Black Storm. I didn't know before, you know." And apologizing, and vice versa for the women too. You know what I'm saying? This is not, not gender warring with you, right? But you have to look at the signs and symbols when you see all these men going through what they're going through, right? And you can't just deny it and say, "Oh, it's just an attack on men," even though it is to some degree, right? There's a polarity to that too, right? But it's a sign and symbol as well. So I just wanted to point that out. Can't be playing with this, folks. All right, let's continue. So number 3, okay. So tap number 1, right, was meditation. Number 2 is working with deities, right, and learning how to work with your ancestors first and foremost. Number 3, okay, 2024 journaling, scripting, okay, tapping into the Tahuti, okay, which is the god of wisdom, right? Tahuti, science, mathematics, spirituality, right? Anything that you could think of. Tahuti is the god of wisdom that comes from all these type of creations, alchemy, etc., etc. And this allows you to get out of your head. People that say that they're overthinkers, right? They're always thinking. Their thoughts are always going through their mind. Right? What this is that essence or that energy called Tahuti, or Dija, or in the Kabbalah, it is Chokmah. Okay, so this is that energy or that energy matrix of Tahuti, and by journaling, right, it allows you to get these thoughts out of your head and putting them on paper. Right, a lot of times people say they're overthinkers or they're always thinking. Well, if you're an overthinker, always thinking, right? You need to get journal. You need to start journaling, right? You need to start scripting. You need to start writing things down. You need to start writing out your dreams, writing out your goals in a daily journal, things like that. This will allow you to get things out of your head, right? And see them in a concrete reality. I remember I was an overthinker like that until I started writing things down and writing down ideas I had and seeing things clearly for what they were, right? And doing a journal and things. I haven't journaled in a while, but doing a journal and actually seeing my day-to-day habits in real time, it helped me change some habits that I had and some behaviors that I had. So this allows you to get out your head, right? Also, there's a method called the 369 method. So the 369 method is this. 369 meaning that you are writing down whatever your goal or intention is 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, right? Right around noon, between noon and 1, writing it down again, and writing it 9 times before you go to bed. And the more you do that, right, the more you'll see some manifestation again, as long as it's within your sphere of influence, right? You can't manifest a mansion if you don't have $20 in your bank, right? So this is within your sphere of influence, so to speak, but within your, things that you can attach to, whether it's your job, your family, that could give you a loan or something like that, right? Whatever the situation is. So to true instance, my ability to know is unlimited. All right. There's no difference than Neo, jacking into the matrix and being able to learn how to fly, helicopters or whatever. Not to say it will be like that, but once you know how to meditate effectively and go into the void, right, which will take time, you will be able to communicate with any ancestor. Like I've had communication with Brother Penn, right? I talked to Reginald Lewis, right, who was the first Black millionaire. I talked to Nipsey Hussle, right? There's ways. It's not like difficult. You just have to do the work, right? But these people have skills that you may not necessarily be born with based on your zodiac, or may not be natural to you, but you have ancestors, you have uncles, you have aunties, you have nieces, great great grandparents who are in your DNA, right? In your junk DNA blockchain, if you will, that you could tap into and extract these skills and extract passion for learning these things, right? Which you may have thought was boring or may have thought that you wouldn't be interested or be able to do, right? So this is part of doing the work, right? And the spoils of you going through your spiritual war and conquer. So my ability to know is unlimited. I understand what seems as me not my not knowing is merely the momentary inability of my knowledge to take verbal form in my mind. I understand that God manifests this divine plan in the world of man by incarnating in the soul of men and women who have elevated their consciousness to the higher parts of their spirit. I therefore honor and follow the guidance of sages and prophets above all kinds of men. Okay? I am successful in handling the emotional and sensual challenges in my life because I realize that nothing has an emotional or sensual quality in itself, meaning that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it, right? Because nothing is necessarily good or bad. It's really your perspective. My emotional and sensual reactions are betrayal of my lack of spiritual cultivation in relation to these objects. So, for instance, if you see Trump and all of a sudden Trump is bad, or you see Biden and all of a sudden Biden is bad, right? This is based on you. It's not necessarily them specifically, right? Because there's somebody who likes Trump or Biden and can say, "Yo, he did X, Y, Z for me. That was great," or "He put me in this position. That was great," right? So it's really your perspective of these things, and oftentimes your perspective is guided by what media is telling you or what your friends and family is telling you, not necessarily your own inner essence. So the key is to be above it all, right? In the world, but not of it. So you don't really have any opinion left or right. Your goal and your focus is on making your subconscious conscious or being one with the divine or one with all, right? So that you could become walking magic here on earth. You could become a sun or a light of man here on earth and live your purpose. So until I can still my thoughts, meditation, to let my wisdom manifest itself as will, I will go to the oracles. These are readings and your divination tools. That the eye was harmed by Set can be, so that the eye that was harmed by Set can be restored. Okay. I understand that God has saved us by sharing its power of wisdom within us. I will be successful in this awakening because I have no problem in giving up my head and keeping my heart still. So in the Yoruba, they have something called the Ori, which is energy around your head, right? It would also be related to the colostrum scientifically, right? Which is where the chism or the prism, that energy, that sacral energy hits when it hits the crown chakra in the brain. And this is the awakening or the Kundalini awakening, as they say, when you are, when it's activated, when your Kundalini is activated, so to speak. So giving up your head means you're giving up your ego and allowing yourself to be a vessel of the divine and realizing that yourself is really no self. Okay? There is no such thing as really yourself, all right, or a self. What a self is an amalgamation of the ideas, the thoughts, the pictures, the vision, the information that you have collected over this lifetime and have focused on, right? And have walked the path based on the information given to you. But if you were born, let's say, in Beverly Hills, right? The same person, your whole reality and your perspective of the self would be totally different, right? Or if you were born, in the Congo in Africa, your perspective of yourself would be totally different. So the self or the persona through sound is always subject to change. Meaning tomorrow you could wake up be a totally different person than the person you are now, based on the spiritual work that you put in. So that is Ori means select head, right? So you can select whatever head you want, right? And this journaling and scripting is one of the ways that you'll be able to select whatever type of move that you want to make. You can change your life starting tomorrow, right? It's all up to you. You don't have to be whoever you were 20, 10, 15, 5 years ago, yesterday, because there is no self. It's just programming. And once you start to reprogram, your self changes, right? So what you call yourself changes. You're not the same self that you were at 10 that you are at 15. You're not the same self that you were at 15 that you are at 20, at 25, at 30, etc., and on and on and on. That self continues to change as you continue to grow. And some people who don't grow, you see that self, there's people, guys, women 50, 60 years old, that self is still the same self that they were at 15, that they were at 20. It's never changed because they never grew. So you have to give up your head or this person that you think you are to allow yourself to be one with all life, to be one with everything in the universe. And this takes work, but this is the truth. Okay. And one of the ways you can do this, again, writing what you desire. This is from A. Rashid's book, Dog Star Hip Hop. Drawing what you desire has a better result. Even writing down one's intention on paper can produce faster results than simply speaking them to human ears. So this is how you tap into what the Commission for the Egyptians called the Heka, right? Your magical utterance, your magical power from the word, right? By writing it down, right? Even drawing your vision or drawing your intention, right? Will bring better results instead of just keeping it in your head or keeping it in your mind, right? So again, this is the way you manifest miracles in your life, by using these tools. And another deity, English deity, Chinamaster, again, tapping into Tahuti. These are the same things. We're working with the energy, right? Chinamaster is another deity in this Kush. As you see, she doesn't have a head. Okay? So you can see already how it relates to this, right? I will, number 5, I will be successful in its awakening because I have no problem in giving up my head and keeping my heart still. So this is giving up the ego, the animal ego, right? And tapping into your ancestors, which is the bloodlines, right? is the bloodlines that she is effectively feeding the world. And as you see, there's skulls around Master, right? She is standing on a sexual, right? These two people in a sexual position or in sexual entanglement, and this represents the arousal of sacral energy or the arousal of that womb, that those three bottom chakra, right? Or that sexual energy, using it for creativity, using it for no longer being one with this world, and now you are one with your inner self, and that's what the blood represents. It represents your ancestors. It represents your bloodline, right? So, and the looks kind of like Cali if you think about it, right? With all the heads or heads on the necks. And again, this is a representation of just divine wisdom and not having this human animal ego. And this is the yantra or mantra, which is a symbolic representation which you could take into meditation and download these ideas and things. And lotus, tuja, red hibiscus flower, right? And there's a Chinnamasta yantra, which is pretty dope, right? You can find these mantras on YouTube. You can find these mantras on the internet, print them out, put them in the altar, right? Get a candle, blue and white candle, right, for Tahuti, and tap in. Again, same deities, just different places, okay? This is about the channeling of that energy or that energy of passion, the creative energy to put towards your purpose here on earth. Number 4, sex magic, okay? Sex magic. This book, The Multi-Orgasmic Man, is a book that I read when I was about, I want to say 19, right? One of the best books I've ever read as a man on sexuality. This is by Montauk Chia. All right, Montauk Chia got good books on chi and channeling chi, right? And chronic energy. And sex magic, right, is with the wand being the phallus, right, and the portal being the yoni, okay, and stirring it in the pot, all right, stirring at that yoni pot, that is the cauldron, so to speak, right, and you created magic that way, okay, and this is what we need to get back to, right, because people always talk about like the community and need to save the Black community, we need to help the community this, but the families are not intact, okay, we don't have families. Imagine if the two people that are in relationships, right, they were doing sex magic. And what sex magic is very simple, right? It is you, man, putting your penis in the vagina, the womb, right? And both of y'all have an idea, right, or a vision that you guys may have wrote down, right, or made a picture of, right? You wrote down, you made a picture of, you take it out of your heads, right? Shit, you could even write it on each other, right? Write it on each other with marker, right? And you make love, and as you guys are making love, you're thinking of this. And as she is the peak of orgasm, as you get the peak of your orgasm, right, or in those states of pleasure, you have this visualization going on, right? And these things come into reality much quicker when you have a partner. This is why it's important for us not to get caught up in these red pill, Cynthia G, right, fresh and fit type of gender war ideas, because when the family is separate, we're actually losing power, right? When we're not creating families, we're losing power, we're losing magic, we're losing our abilities to create better lives for ourselves and others, right? So we want to have these love Jones type of relationships, which is on the right, but it takes us knowing what to do with this sexual energy. We see the animal way of using sexual energy is just to get a nut, right? It's just to feel the pleasure, and just to get a nut, it's just to feel good, but that's it. But imagine if we were living by a culture where we taught our children how to have sex effectively, and we set up a family. This family do the same thing, so that when they get together, when your son, my son, and my daughter gets with your son, I know now when I send my daughter with her, he knows what's up. Like he's gonna manifest a great life in my daughter because I know he knows what sex magic is. And he knows what being multi-orgasmic as a man is and how to raise his energy and not be a minute man and charge that energy. Also, another fun fact, fellas, if you meditate on a woman you're about to sleep with, and she's, let's say it's a new fling you're bringing in, you know what I'm saying, it's a new hot thing you're bringing in, and you meditate, you will be able to uh, not be a minute man. You will be able to prolong in your sexual act, in the act of making love. You will essentially be able, if you visualize yourself retaining and not busting enough quick, you won't, right? This is one of the privileges of spirituality, right? You don't get those BDRs. What's a BDR? A bad dick report from the girl, right? So, you know, this is the power of spirituality, right? A lot of men are against or don't want to really fuck with niggas some sort of shit. But again, if you tap into these secrets, you'll be able to, do some shit. And be happier. There's nothing better than seeing your girl well satisfied, or put it on her and she's asleep. You know what I'm saying? You can look back and sit back and be like, yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Put her ass out for the night. Yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? She's well satisfied. You know how good she's gonna treat you the next day. So you want to tap into these energies, right? And use sex not just for pleasure, and unfortunately, the way you want to see it, even if the other person doesn't know nothing about this, right? Their body is still a vehicle for energy, right? It can still be used. So even if the dude don't know or the girl don't know nothing about this, you should still be doing your spiritual work with them, right? That's just what it is. Hopefully you can teach them, right? But if you're in a position where you're trying to tell them and they're not with it and they don't believe it or whatever, and this is just who you choose to sleep with, hey, still be doing the same work of visualizing and feeling your intentions, and you will see them manifest. All right. Now, number 5, shadow work. Okay, this is stuff you should be doing now. Okay, creating new timelines. Okay, Loki season 2 was all about shadow work, all about shadow. Right, and it's also that Saturn type of energy. Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius, which is the age we're in now. And Loki at the end, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but you should have watched it. It's been out now over a month. Like, I'm sorry if you didn't see it, but at the end, he had to change, like, keep the timelines alive, right? He had to create new timelines, okay? And a new timeline is basically what shadow work is, right? You're creating a new energy around your past, right? You're creating new visions around your past. You're facing your past, right? One of the scenes on the right, where Loki was, he went back into his past and he had a decision he had to make before he became what they call a god of stories in this part. And he was asking this character Mobius on the left, he was like, how do you live with the decision? And Mobius said the hard thing to do was the thing that had to be done in my heart. I mean, impossible, right? There's no comfort. You just choose your burden, right? And that goes to anything really in this life, right? You could delay your spiritual work. You could delay the meditative work. You could delay the spiritual baths. You could delay getting certain crystals. You could delay sitting down and reading and studying, right? You could delay all of that. You think, oh, I gotta go because I got melanin in my body, and I'm watching all the YouTube videos, and I'm gonna watch every Bobby Hemmett video and every Panic video, and I know it all. But if you're not actually doing the work, doing the burden, what do they say? Discipline is doing what you like, right? So you can get to what you love, right? Discipline is, discipline is sacrificing what you like so you can get to what you love, right? And we all want to be one with God. We all want spiritual powers. We all want the ability to sense things before they happen. We all want to be in tune with the universe, and we all want to attract good people into our life. That's what we all want. All right. There's no one on the planet that would want to be around good people that they can trust, right? That support them on their journeys, right? That are a listening ear, that are a shoulder to cry on. We all want that. But you have to be that. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So you have to know what kind of God you need to be. And you have to have the ability to change your timelines. And most of who you are, again, is based on your childhood. This is what any psychotherapist will tell you. They'll change is based on your childhood, right? It's based on your past. Any psychologist, I should say. Yeah, psychotherapist, psychologist. It's based on your child. They always ask you, what happened in your childhood? What happened in your past, right? So some people who haven't gotten over their first heartbreak still. So they're out here acting savage, breaking other people's hearts, fucking up the world because they have not healed from the first girlfriend or the first boyfriend or the one or the two, three dudes that hurt her. And they haven't taken accountability or responsibility, right? And that's men or women, for their choices. So they're putting their choices on the outside world. And they're not healing those timelines. They're not looking at the lessons of the past, right? And taking on the burden of facing these things, right? Sometimes you got to have difficult conversations with other people, and sometimes you have to have difficult conversations with yourself. And you have to heal from the trauma. You can't heal what you don't reveal. So you have to ask yourself why. Usually, if you have habits that you're trying to change, you have to ask yourself why. Why is this happening? What's the reason that this is happening? What's causing it to happen? Right? This is not the sexy part of spirituality or the sexy part of magic, right? This is the part of magic that people don't want to talk about. But this is what will get you to where you want to be. This is what will get you to live your purpose. This is what will get you to live in peace. This is what will get you to live in joy. This is what will get you to change and upgrade your DNA. So one of the things you could do, you could start taking burdock root tea, right? Burdock root. Let's go back to this, right? Again, food, herbs, and root vegetables. Okay, that's one book. I'm gonna show you another book we're gonna go into. This is by Karen M. Rose, Spiritual Herbalism. Okay, you can get on Amazon, and he talks about burdock root. So what does burdock root do? Burdock root is robust. What is it? Burdock is a plant of Venus and holds the mirror of truth, helping us to see the beauty of truth. It reveals the truth about us and our deep-rooted subconscious beliefs, habits, and emotions. In my practice, we call burdock truth serum. Over the years, my apprentices have recognized that a walk with burdock is never an easy one. Burdock is a taproot plant growing deep in the soil, touching the ancestors' ground. Okay, it is ready to dig into buried trauma. Okay, it is ready to dig into buried trauma and the truth of old wounds. Okay, so this is a tea that you should be drinking so you can face these shadows, and it will allow you to face these shadows. Not only that, but burdock also is a blood tonic, ironically. Okay, in magic, it's to bring the wounding to the surface that we may heal. Often, when we first take burdock, we encounter a healing crisis where the condition worsens over the first few days and becomes better. It is this way that burdock also works spiritually. The wound has to reveal itself to heal. Burdock is especially good at breaking up and releasing old habits. It helps us to examine the truth behind the pattern, which can be uncomfortable. Through the healing process, this medicine grounds us deeply, unveiling fears and unresolved emotions, rooting us in the truth. So, how many people have told y'all on this journey that you can start drinking burdock tea to do shadow work, right? Burdock root tea to do shadow work, right? You can even put that in a candle, right? Burn that in a candle and, tap into those shadow work. Light it, put a candle before bed, right? Put a little bit of root in there, a white candle or a black candle, right? And start facing those shadows in the dream world, right? Start attacking them in the dream world, which will come up, right, if you're doing the work. Okay? So these are just some things, right, that we need to do. And 528 hertz, right, which is the frequency that you're actually hearing now, whether you know it or not, in the background. 528 hertz, it is DNA repair. Okay? So junk DNA is where all your ancestors, your great, 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 great grandfather, grandmother, aunties, uncles, right? All the way back, Samaria, Connect, and beyond to fucking to the Nomos, right? To the Dogon, right? They all are within you, and you can all tap into that energy, or there are those auras right within you. So 528 hertz is also something that will help you on your shadow work, and of course, you can also tap into shadow shadow uh shadow work workbook, okay, which is an actual workbook, right? You read, you write, you know, et cetera, and work on facing that past so that if there's habits, if there's things that, I know I have certain habits, I had certain habits that were directly tied into my childhood, directly tied into my childhood. And until I face these parts of my childhood, right? And also there's aspects of your childhood where you've overcome certain things that you may not have overcome in your that you're not may not be able to overcome in your adulthood, right? And there's parts of the shadow work that will help you tap into that. Okay, but these are some tools to help ease your shadow work. All right. And this is what 528 hertz looks like. Okay. It's a miracle frequency, repairs the DNA, regenerates the cells. You look on the right, with the surveillance there, chakra system, and you see it's directly tied to your solar plexus, right? Your inner light, your inner soul, right? Solar, your soul, right? Your soul work. Your soul work is going to be your shadow work because your soul corresponds to your physical animal body, but more importantly, the electromagnetic field, right? And your electromagnetic field is based on how you think. How you think is based on the information you've taken in. Information you've taken in is based on your environment, right? Which is also epigenetic, right? Epigenetics change based your genetics change based on your environment and the frequency of the environments that you surround yourself in. So while you're watching this video, right, you're being upgraded. Your solar plexus is being upgraded, right? This is actually happening within your body right now. You're welcome. All right. So this is the energy that you can tap into do the shadow work. All right. And this is what it looks like. And you can also tap into all these, right? But you want to definitely you can and you there's certain apps you could get where you can play with all these frequencies, right? For instance, like while you're working and stuff like that, or if you do computers at work or even at home, right? You could like right now you are using, online tone generator, right? This is not 432 hertz, right? And I got the other one running at 528 hertz, which is the frequency of shadowing. Okay. So again, this is the work, all right? And I'm giving you these shortcuts. Because I've been where a lot of y'all are, you know, and I want to help you kind of accelerate past where you think you have to be, you know, using these certain tools. So in ancient China, this is Montauk Chia, who actually what I was talking about with the sex magic of the book Multi-Orgasmic Man, right? And he says in ancient China, the Taoists taught that a constant inner smile, a smile to oneself, ensured health, happiness, and longevity. Why? Smiling to yourself is like basking in love. You become your own best friend. Living with an inner smile is to live in harmony with yourself, right? So again, this is as simple as it can be, right? Start harnessing your inner smile and doing meditation, right? It's constantly visualize yourself smiling, visualizing yourself smiling, have a picture on your mirror. You can have a smile, two dots and a swoosh, right? Of the smile in the mirror, right? Or whatever, right? Put a picture on your wall of you smiling, put a picture of a smile on your wall, right? So that you always know that you have to live with this inner smile. Now you're doing your own repetition. It's no different than a commercial, right? You all know, pa 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 pa. And if I say that, you can say, I'm loving it, right? We all know that because it's been repetitiously ingrained in us through commercials, right? So it's the same way you repetition the brain and program yourself by having your own daily rituals. This is culture. salvation. This is spiritual culture, knowing thyself. High John the Conqueror is another candle, or High John the Conqueror is also a herb that brings good luck. High John, or John the Conqueror, was a slave that came from the Congo. This is the story, and his main um, function was him being victorious, right, during slavery. And his story is that, and you can find that story in Zora Neale Hurston's The Sanctified Church. She talks about High John the Conqueror. And basically, it's him having a song and him having a smile, right, during whatever difficulties and challenges. So if you're going through difficulties and challenges and you want to raise your frequency to a level of joy, right, you want to tap into this inner smile, get some get a High John the Conqueror purple candle, right? Get High John the Conqueror herb. Yeah, I keep something flower. It's it's like this. So looks just like a little. It looks like this, right? And you could. And I cut a little bit about mine. I actually have a piece that I keep in my wallet to keep money coming in and in and in and in. All right. Yeah. What's up, Graham? Shout out to Graham. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. So yeah. This is one of the ways you can tap into this energy, right? Especially if you're going through a struggle. A lot of people are going through a struggle right now, financially, loss of homes, losing cars, record homelessness, record everything, right? So definitely you can tap into this energy by getting this camera. If you can't look, if you can't afford, like, if you got $5 to your name, man, definitely won't be breaking your pocket trying to buy all these herbs and all these things. So, get the picture, lock it into your mind, and meditation is free of charge. They can't charge you for air yet, right? And you haven't been charged to breathe. So you can lock these pictures in and just tap into this energy that way. All right. And again, John's whole thing was to survive slavery, right? How John surviving slavery was he had to, the slaves had the songs, right, to keep them going, right, to keep their spirits uplifted, and the dancing, right, to keep them going, to keep their spirits uplifted, right. And it's about keeping a smile and being in joy and being in states of peace, as we discussed earlier with Oshun, right? That particular energy of uh, passion, sensuality, sexuality, things like that, right? That particular for joy and the ability to move energy and motion, right? So this is what this is all about. And last but not least, this is what I'm trying to do, all right? I'm trying to free your mind, Neil. You are the one, all right? You are the one. You are the one. But I can only show you the door. You have to walk through it. So it is your job to tap into these 5 things for the new year so that you could, before the new year, actually, like some of this stuff, if you can't afford it, right, start working with some of these deities, start getting your ancestral altar up, right, getting a book, a journal, right, you should, even like me, like you're watching somebody like me or anybody, right, get a book, write things down, and go back and take some time to research, watch less Netflix, watch less series, really be serious about this work because you are the vanguard, right? There's a reason again that you're watching something like this on YouTube and not watching, regular TV or indulging watching Tasha K or some gossip shit, right? Because you are meant to be the vanguard. You are meant to be the person that guides your family. You are meant to be the light of the world. All right. You are meant to be the person that does not reincarnate back here on earth. So, but you have to put in the work to do so. It's not just going to come to you from knowing a lot and being able to speak a lot and telling me who the Illuminati is and telling me what Puffy's doing next and telling me, what the secret society is doing and telling me about the Andromedians or people on planet Risk, or what the white man is doing next and what the government is doing next. No, what are you doing next? What type of culture do you have in your life? What type of culture are you demanding for yourself and the people around you, right? Are you allowing people to be themselves even, right? And knowing that everyone's not going to be on this path. Or are you trying to save the world, wasting energy, all right? That's all I got right now. Anybody got any questions before I sign out? Hopefully this makes sense to y'all. Definitely a lot of gems in here if you choose, but you got to run the ball. Any questions, comments? Yeah, that's a fact. Like, there's a lot of people who won't even Google, or basic shit like angel numbers. They'll wait for people to come online, and somebody will break down the angel number, and all of a sudden they go in the chat on a million angel numbers. Like, you could Google some stuff on your phone. You shouldn't be looking for someone to save you at this point. This is the age of knowing, Aquarius, not the age of following. That was Pisces. This is the age where you got to know for yourself. You got to do the research. You got to do a study, and you got to be a scientist. You have to go through trial and error, right? This is a scientific path. This is the path of trial and error. Does this work? Does this not work? And looking at it and analyzing it and seeing, does it work for you or does it not work for you? This is what this time is. Because if you don't, you're gonna get caught up in being part of the animal. You're gonna be caught up in the matrix, right? You're gonna be caught up in being an Agent Smith and just following blindly, or worse, reactive, right? And you think you're woke, right? But you're really just a sheep, right? In woke form. You're still a sheep. You're still an Agent Smith because you're not doing your own cultivation processes, right? And no matter what's going to happen next year in 2024, your idea and your plan has to be set now. We're going into a new moon in Sagittarius, right? So, and the next day is on 12/12, which is numerically, right? 3/3 right there, Christ out at 33, right? 12/12 and 3/3, Christ out at 33, which goes to a 6, right? Which we talked about earlier, 6, right? Being aligned with my aunt, right? My aunt right here, 6-pointed star, right? Lakshmi, but that number 6, right? Which is the energy going to be the numerology that's going to be on for the new moon in Sagittarius. So you want to have a plan for the next day is Mercury retrograde, which is going to force you to do shadow work. It's going to force you to look at the past, right? So don't wait to get forced, start doing the work. The tools are here, you know what I'm saying? The tools are here. You want easy shadow work? Shit, start tomorrow, tonight. Put on 528 hertz, fall asleep to it, right? Order some motherfucking burdock root tea, right? Create new timelines in your head, right? Go back into your past, right? Write it down, journal, write it down, write down your life story, right? This is the stuff we got to do. Like, you can't just sit here and think some miracle's going to happen if you're not doing the work for yourself. It doesn't work that way, okay? All right? And I don't see any questions, so I am out of here. Peace, power, and prosperity. Rob Blackstorm. Please, 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 for your sake, right? Get prepared for 2024. All right. Start doing some of this stuff. Start doing it, right? Don't be scared. Tap in. All right. Learn yourself, right? I'm using the Egyptian deities because they're called the Neteru. These are the Neteru is where the word natural comes from. And these are natural ways for you to tap into your inner essence. These are African spiritual sciences, right? African spiritual technology, indigenous spiritual technology, whatever you want to call it, right? But the goal is to be able to be above the goal by being in tune with nature, being in tune with the universe, and being prepared for whatever may come and knowing how to handle whatever may come, right? Go back to 2020, right? What type of person were you during that time period? And if you were the person that you wanted to be, then how can you improve on that, right? And if you weren't, again, how can you improve? This is part of the shadow work as well. All right, y'all. Again, peace, power, prosperity, Ron Blackstone.